Today on Homeworthy, we're traveling to the Windy City to see 4 beautifully designed homes in the Chicago area. First, we visit a 100-year-old restored colonial home in Evanston that showcases vintage treasures, thoughtful details, and classic design. Then we see a former warehouse that was expertly transformed into an art-filled retreat with modern style and personal touches. Next, we see a 595 square foot apartment that blends coastal inspiration with lived-in elegance. And finally, we visit a colorful home filled with unique furniture, dreamy antique store finds, and meaningful art. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Emily White and this is my home tour in Evanston, Illinois. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
I'm Emily White and I am an interior designer and content creator. So we are on the North Shore of Illinois. We're specifically in Evanston, which is a really beautiful neighborhood on the North Shore, right 30 minutes outside of Chicago. We've lived here for about 3 years now. We bought our house as a fixer-upper and we've spent the last 3 years really infiltrating the home with character and love. I've gone through pretty much every room, putting my own take and spin on it, and it's been really, really fun. So you're gonna see a lot of original character, some more historically accurate character that we've put into the home, as well as a lot of wallpaper, texture, moody colors. It's awesome. My husband and I have always loved really old things. The first condo that we bought in Chicago was an historic walk-up, and we just loved all the charm and quirks that come with an old home. So when we were looking to move out of the city and put some roots down, we fell in love with this home. It was built in 1919 and it was in really, really bad shape. And we just thought that the idea of bringing it back to life, putting the character back and loving it for all of its quirks and fun things that come with very old homes would be really fun. And so we bought the house at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was a little crazy, and it took a year of renovations before we moved in to the house. Well, welcome to my living room. This is such a great room. It's a little bit unique because it's very long and narrow, so the layout kind of gave me a hard time for a little bit, but we worked it out. So one of my favorite pieces of this room is this gallery wall. I actually got these prints off of Etsy and just had them framed. It looks super, super expensive, and it really wasn't. And then a lot of the other pieces you'll see are all Facebook Marketplace finds. So this antique nesting side tables, this really, really cool marble-topped bar that we use when we're hosting was $20 from Facebook Marketplace, if you can believe it. I love this little space. It's where I keep family photos, which I think is a really fun way to add personality into your home. And then we have, oh, Ruby's coming to say hello. This is our bulldog, Ruby. She's very friendly. Next, I want to share, these are antique chairs. I get questions on them all the time. They're beautiful brown chocolate velvet. They're super, super comfortable. Again, Facebook Marketplace. I got both of these for $50. Amazing. The next thing I want to point out in our living room, one of my favorite things is our fireplace. We had this refaced when we did our renovations a couple years ago. This mantle is original to the house. So in 1919, when the house was built, this was the mantle and it's still here. We replaced the surround with this reclaimed Chicago brick. It's very special and unique. If you zoom in on some of the bricks, you can see they have Illinois Brick Company, and it's just one of those things that gives our house a little extra charm. Over here, we have our French doors that lead out to the front. These are great to open in the summer. They are also original to the house, a little bit fun fact, you'll also see throughout the house these original cut glass doorknobs. We tried our best to keep those in the house, and we kept them everywhere we could. The original hardwood floors in here were in really, really bad shape. They had water damage, they were cracking, and we needed to replace them. But I wanted to pay homage to the historic elements of the home. And so we chose to do a herringbone pattern in both this half of the house, so the living room and the office, and also the dining room. Herringbone pattern is a very classic and traditional flooring pattern, and I think it's so, so beautiful. And so we chose to do a very light white oak engineered hardwood, and we inlaid them in a herringbone pattern in here, and then we chose a very wide plank straight lay in all the rest of the house. So the last thing I'll show you in this room is this. This is actually my most recent Facebook Marketplace find. This beautiful antique secretary was something that I thought would be perfect in this room for displaying some of my other smaller antique finds. We also keep our stationery and letters envelopes in here. It's really fun. Axel, my son, also likes stashing his cars in there. And then speaking of my kids, this was an original oil painting that I found, I believe, at an estate sale a few years ago, and it ended up being perfect because it has two kids, a little boy with red hair, and my 3-year-old Axel has bright red hair, so that's kind of perfect, and then a little girl with blonde hair, and we had our little blondie, Lucy, about a year ago. So this special painting that I loved forever ago has come to represent my two little ones, and it's really special. So that is the living room, and next I'm gonna take you to the office. So there were a few parts in the renovation where it felt like we were never going to get through it. Working with old homes can be challenging. A few parts of the renovation were a little challenging. I would say we had to add in central air. If you live in an old home, you know a lot of them don't have air conditioning, and that was one of the things that we chose to put in the home. We didn't realize how challenging it would be. We had to kind of come up with a creative solution, but thank God for amazing contractors and communication. We were able to make it work. I will also say another thing is the flooring. In old homes, sometimes the flooring is uneven, and so replacing the floors was difficult, to say the least. So next, I'm gonna bring you into the office. This is a really nice space that we actually use a lot. The first thing I wanna point out is this really fun, colorful rug that we have on the floor. This is a antique rug. I would say most of the rugs in my house are antique. I just love how durable they are, how fun and unique they are, and they're really great with kids, easy to wash. So that's a little bit about the rug. In here, we color drenched the space. I really wanted a moody, green office. The built-ins are the same color, the ceiling, the trim, everything is Rosemary by Sherwin-Williams. It's probably one of my favorite colors ever, and I love working in this space. So these built-ins are amazing. They take a while to style, but it's a good thing I love styling shelves. I love displaying some of my smaller antique pieces and decor. I also have mismatched some Target and Home Goods finds. This is a woven tray from Target. We have a little bust that looks vintage, but it's actually Amazon. We have some framed vintage art, and altogether, I feel like it just gives a really cool, moody backdrop. Next, I want to point out this really awesome light fixture. This is from Amazon, if you will believe it or not. It's under $200, and I loved it because I wanted to do a light fixture that wasn't going to take away from the moody paint color, plus this is a smaller room. So I think the clear crystals are gorgeous. They make a statement without taking away from everything else that's going on in the room. So that is the light fixture. And then the desk, which I get questions on a lot, is actually a restoration hardware desk. It's something that we splurged on, but I thought the size, the color, the finish, everything was so perfect for this room. I love that it stands right in the center, and you have a beautiful view out into our backyard when you're working on whatever you're working on. So that is our office. Next, I'm gonna take you into our kitchen. So I would describe my overall design style as a little bit of a mix. I really lean towards traditional and vintage elements. So you're gonna see a lot of secondhand antique finds. That is my bread and butter. I love searching on Facebook Marketplace for special treasures that people are selling. I also love going to antique stores and flea markets, estate sales, and finding special pieces that I think will curate a timeless and classic look. I also like light and bright colors as well as a contrast of moody colors. So I like, you'll see like this room is very light and bright, and then we have a moody library, we have a very moody dining room. So overall, I would say I am very traditionalist with a little modern spin here and there. So the next space I'm really excited to show off is our kitchen. I feel like this project is one of the biggest transformations from what it used to look like when we bought the house and today. Everybody loves this kitchen. I love this kitchen. And I think we made some really great timeless choices. So first, I want to share our countertops. I really wanted marble when we were renovating the house, but we knew we were gonna have kids. And my husband said, I don't think now is the time. So I found this really beautiful sea pearl quartzite. Quartzite is a natural stone. It's known for its statement veining and its really cool toned shades, but it's durable like a quartz or a man-made stone, and so it's great for kids. I love it. We did a very thin countertop. We also actually brought it up the backsplash on our range wall, and I just love how you can see all of the intricate veining, and it really creates a statement. On this wall, rather than bringing the countertop up, I chose to use a 2x6 Zellige tile. This is a handmade tile. It's really beautiful because each piece is really unique and it comes with a lot of texture and range of color. It's also a very cool toned white, and I thought it complemented the cool tones of the countertop really well. So we brought it all the way up to the ceiling to really create that illusion of height, and I think it's really cool. One of the things we also changed in the kitchen was it had a very tiny window. It was pretty much the size of just this middle section. And I said, we need more light in this kitchen. And so we blew out this wall and we put in this 3-sectioned window that I think is so gorgeous. You can see our neighbor's house, which is really pretty. And when you're doing the dishes, it's just a nice little vibe. So over here, we have my pot rack, which is another one of my favorite elements of our kitchen. We had our marble fabricator just drill the pot rack right into the stone. It was a little nerve-wracking, but they said it could be possible. So we did it. And I'm so glad that we did, because I feel like it's the perfect place to display all my antique copper pots. And so we just hang them. I have lots more in storage, and every once in a while I'll change them out. And it's just a fun little look. And then here, I also always get questions on my range. This is an Ilvi range, and it looks like it's 100 years old, but it functions great. It's a very modern range. I love the brass details, the brass knobs. The white is really beautiful with the creamy cabinet color. And then if you can see on the bottom, they have these really fun scroll legs that really just round out that vintage feel. While I'm talking about the cabinets, I also want to point out that these are Sherwin-Williams Creamy. It's the perfect creamy white. I wanted something warm and inviting while still keeping that classic white kitchen vibe. And so I went with this really warm white shade, and I feel like it's just timeless paired with our unlacquered brass hardware. Over here, we have our island, and this island works so hard. I chose, even though the space is small square footage wise, I really wanted a big island, and I think that also helps make this kitchen feel larger than it is. This island works so hard. If you notice, we don't have an official pantry, so this island is where we store our food. It's also where we have our microwave drawer, which is really easy and fun to use. And it's great. I chose a quarter sawn white oak stained in a chestnut matte stain. And that is how you get all of this beautiful veining in the wood. And then I chose a matte finish because I didn't want a glossy effect. I wanted everything to look really matte. And I love how the really dark wood plays off with the light oak floors, the creamy cabinets, and I think it all just plays together really well. Last thing I want to point out about our kitchen is these bar stools. These are not only super comfortable, but I got them from World Market, so they're very affordable. They look high-end. I'm pretty sure there are a few retailers that have a similar look for way, way more expensive, but these work for us. We've had them for 3 years now, and we love them. They're super wide and durable, easy to wipe down and clean. And I think, again, a woven element in an overall pretty traditional space really adds that casualness and warmth. That's so nice. So this is our kitchen, and next I'm gonna bring you over to our coffee bar and sitting room. It's really hard to pick a favorite space in my home because I feel like when you spend time picking special things, it all feels really special. And as we've created memories as a family over the last couple years, every room has different moments that I love about it. But I will say my 2 kids' rooms, Lucy's nursery and Axel's nursery, are probably my favorite rooms. They are the ones that I probably spent the most time researching and curating things, putting special pieces together. And I also love putting little objects and decor pieces that reflect them as my kids. And I'm really proud of how those 2 rooms have come together, how they have evolved as the kids have grown, and they're really beautiful as well. So next I'm gonna take you into our sitting room. We love this room. Most of our playtime and hangout time as a family happens in this room. First, I wanna show off this hutch, which is actually a new addition to this room. This is where David and I prepare our coffee every morning. It's also where we'll have wine and cocktails and drinks when we're hosting and having parties. And so we keep all of our glassware in here, our coffee mugs, and most of the time we'll have creamer and all your coffee accessories right here, which is really great. And then another fun fact about this hutch is that it's where we store most of the kids' toys. So in these bottom sections, you'll have all of the fun things that my kids love to play with. And it's great because when we're in here, it's very accessible to them and they can open them up. We take everything out, and it's fun when we're also cooking and doing stuff in the kitchen that we can supervise all the fun that's happening in here. Next, I want to show these really fun chairs. You can actually find these on Amazon. They look so high-end. Everybody's always surprised when I say that. And they are the perfect reading chair. I spend a lot of time in here. Over here, you have some more Facebook Marketplace and antique finds. I've had this lamp forever. I'm pretty sure I found this alabaster lamp when David and I were first married, and it's found a home right here. This blue velvet couch is also a fan favorite. This is from the inside, and it's a really fun turquoise blue. It's a little unexpected, but I think it's a really fun statement. Velvet is also great with kids because it's easy to clean, very durable, and we love that. This gallery wall, I'm a huge fan of gallery walls, is really special because it's curated with art that I've found and discovered on various trips that David and I have taken together. This top small one and this dark one in this corner, also this really beautiful mountain print. These are all found on our 5-year wedding anniversary trip to Capri, Italy. I love finding art in places that we travel to and bringing them home. I think it's a really fun way to remember trips and remember all of the fun memories that we're making and also create beautiful home decor. Lastly, I want to show you this really fun leather ottoman. This is actually from a small business on Etsy, which is really fun. They make beautiful leather products, and we've had this one forever. The only thing I did change was the legs. It came with, I do this a lot actually with furniture. It came with standard square block legs, and I wanted something a little bit more antique looking. So I bought the bun legs on Amazon, stained them a darker color, and David helped me screw them back on. And now I created a custom piece that feels really special and works great for the house. My trajectory into my current profession as an interior designer and content creator is a little different. I actually went to school for social work. I have my master's degree in social work from Loyola in Chicago, and I did that for a few years until the pandemic. And then when the world kind of shut down, I pivoted. I had always loved interior design. I loved working on spaces in our home as a side hustle. I just enjoyed it, and when we were all stuck at home, there really was nothing else to do. So we were living in our condo at the time, and I started restyling little places in the condo because I was bored, and filming myself posting pictures on Instagram, and it kind of took off from there. I really enjoyed it, and I think people really related to the mix of old and new that I was sharing, as well as seeing people live and function in old historic homes. I think that was pretty fun to share. And so from there, I kind of just decided to take it seriously. I started my blog, We're the Whites, created a website, and really just worked on consistently sharing our journey. When we bought this house and started renovating it, I feel that's when I really started taking my blog seriously and social media seriously, and it just took off from there. So next I want to show off our mudroom. This is another hardworking space in our home, and we carved it out when we built the house because there was no mudroom. And for those people who know hard living Midwest winters and wet springs, you need a mudroom. So we created this space, and one of my most favorite elements is this pocket door that we made look into an arch with some fun construction trickery. This door is actually a square door, which you can see by the line right here, but we framed the opening as an arch so that when the door is closed, it looks like an arch door. This way we saved a lot of money, and you still get that really custom, cool look. So this is the door. Next, I want to talk about the paint color. You can see we chose a very dark color. I wanted to go moody in this room. It was also great for hiding muddy boots and splatters from dogs and pets and kids. And so we went moody, and I could not be more happy about it. This is Black of Night by Sherwin-Williams, and we color drenched this room. So the ceiling, the walls, the trim, and our built-ins are all in the same color. We had these custom made for the space. That way they took up the smallest amount of space while also creating the most amount of storage that we could get. So they reach all the way to the ceiling, and this is where all of our coats, our hats, our scarves, our shoes, everything is stored in here. They work really great, and the best part about them is that they are closable, and so all of the messiness disappears and it looks really clean 90% of the time. The next thing I want to talk about are the floors. These are the same reclaimed brick that we used when renovating the fireplace, and I thought that they would be really special in here. Brick is also a great flooring option for mudrooms and bathrooms because they're easy to clean and they hold up to really heavy everyday traffic. So you'll see we laid them in a brick lay basket weave pattern, which is just a super traditional way of laying brick. I liked how it creates a fun little pattern, and it really highlights the different spots on the brick that you can see Illinois Brick Company and all those fun little imprints. Lastly, I want to point out that we installed a beadboard on the walls. The little lines that you can see really add the illusion of height in the room, even though our ceilings are only a little over 8 feet tall. We also did the paint in a gloss finish, and so even though the room is small and dark colored, it really lets the light bounce off the walls and it feels really nice in here. That was the mudroom, and next we're going to take you all to our dining room. I think my go-to design tip was that every room really benefits from having something organic in it, whether that is a real plant or you can get some really awesome faux stems. Just that green and organicness of florals and stems, they add a very much needed element to a room that makes it feel real and makes it come alive. I think that's really important. I also love a woven element. If you can put in like a wicker tray or a basket or something in a room, I feel like it kind of gives that casual vibe that a room can really benefit from. Welcome to our dining room. This is a really special room in the house. I also feel like it's a really great example of mixing old and new. We have this beautiful table set that was a vintage antique find. We found this a couple years ago, had the whole thing refinished, and it's a really great place to sit and gather, host family and friends. And then above, we have this beautiful brass chandelier, and this is brand new from Serena and Lily. It's beautiful. I feel like it really lends a great conversation piece. The brass also plays off really well with the colors and the wallpaper. And so this situation is one of my favorite things. I also want to point out, as I'm talking about the table, the collection of my antique blue china plates. I love blue and white ceramics. I'm a collector of them. I have a ton, and I love mixing and matching different plates and bowls when hosting and setting a table. I think it adds a fun element. I think it's a fun conversation piece, and it looks really special. Before moving on from the table, I do want to add one more thing. These beautiful silver candlesticks are an heirloom item from my husband's grandma. These were passed down to me by my mother-in-law, and they are very, very special. I feel like one of the most important things about making a beautiful home is also taking every opportunity to input special heirloom pieces that bring in those special memories. And so these are ones that I love to pull out on special occasions, and they're a really special element to the tablescape. Next, I want to show off this beautiful wallpaper. It's such a statement, and it's one of my absolute favorite things in this house. This is a Plantasia wallpaper from House of Hackney. It was definitely an ordeal to install. We had a professional wallpaper installer come and help us with this because the pattern is a little bit complex, but I think it was totally worth it. You will see that this room is a little echoey, and that is because we have a coved ceiling. This is an original detail of the house. If you look up here, the ceiling is very smooth and it comes around the corner, creating a cove or cave-like detail. And so in order to accentuate that, I chose to bring the wallpaper up the cove and end it right where the ceiling starts to flatten out. And I think it adds a really fun element to the room. Once we put the wallpaper up, I really was afraid to kind of put anything on the walls, but I think adding a few different elements like these candle sconces actually accentuate the wallpaper. These are an estate sale find. They are plated silver, and I love sticking different colored taper candles in there depending on the season. It's a really fun way to refresh the home every once in a while. I also want to point out these really cool chairs. They came with a really old school fabric seat, and David and I took on a DIY project and recovered them ourselves. I wanted to do a totally different color as a fun accent to everything else happening in the room, so I chose this peach colored velvet, and we watched a couple YouTube videos and figured out how to recover them ourselves. So now we have brand new to us dining chairs that feel really custom and cool. I also want to point out, you will see throughout our home these radiators. So all of the heat in our house comes from radiant heat, and those who know radiant heat know it is the best heating system in the world. We never have to worry about getting cold in the winter. If anything, we got to turn those babies down every once in a while. But when they asked us if we wanted to remove them and consider putting in central heating system, I said, no way. I love the way that they look. I love the way that they sound when they're letting off heat. And it's another nod to the historic elements of our home. The last corner of the room, we have this beautiful floor mirror. This looks very vintage, but it's actually new from Ballard Designs. I love it. This is actually where I share a lot of my outfit of the day videos on Instagram. And I also think as a small room, a mirror helps make it feel larger. I also love how you can see the table and the light fixture and the wallpaper all reflect off in the glass. And I think that's really fun. So this is our dining room. And next we're gonna head on upstairs. This is Lucy's nursery, and it's one of my most recently designed rooms. Lucy was born almost a year ago, which is crazy to believe. And I had so much fun creating the nursery I always dreamed about when thinking of having a little girl. The first section of her room I want to highlight is her dressing area. This is another Facebook Marketplace find that I made David go and drive to get when I was super pregnant. I found it. It came up on my feed and I had to have it. He drove in a snowstorm, but can you blame me? Look how perfect this thing is. This is also an antique find. I loved the big, gorgeous mirror. I loved the brown finish and how perfect it looked with the white dresser. And if you look really closely, there's little floral and bow details, which you'll see I repeated throughout the space. This is also another example of a great mix of old and new. These two pieces are old vintage finds, but then this really cute scalloped wicker mirror is Target. I picked that up just a few weeks ago because I thought it looked so perfect in her room. I also mentioned that I love to infuse the rooms with little elements that I think reflect my kids' personalities. We call Lucy our Lucy Goose, and so I had to have a little ceramic goose in here for our little Lucy Goose. So I did something a little different with her crib. I feel like in a lot of girl nurseries, you see a lot of white and a lot of light and bright, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I chose a dark wood crib for a really vintage look. I had a wood crib growing up, and I thought it was a nice callback to my childhood. So I chose this really pretty cherry wood finish with all the modern safety features of a new crib. And then I also chose these beautiful floral prints that actually come from a calendar. And I ripped them out of the calendar, had them framed, and I just feel like they look really, really pretty above her crib and play off really nicely with the blush floral wallpaper in the back, which is from Home Depot and was the first element that I found when designing her room. Absolutely fell in love with the wallpaper, and it really helped launch the rest of the design. Before moving on from the crib, I want to point out this really beautiful handmade quilt. One of the fun things that my mom does for the kids is have a custom quilt made for each grandchild. And so every time one of us has a baby, we get to pick out special fabrics that we feel reflect the newborn and their room and their personality. And so this is what we created for Lucy. And it's just a really special heirloom piece that they will get to have forever. Moving on to this corner of the room, this is where we spend most of the time rocking, nursing bottles, reading books, doing bedtime routine, all that fun stuff. This was a really fun story behind this chair. So I found this old Lazy Boy chair on Facebook Marketplace for $15. And I loved the shape, I loved the tuft back, but I hated the fabric. So we brought this chair home and I fell in love with this awesome blush plaid fabric that I felt like looked really, really fun with the floral wallpaper. And so I had this chair reupholstered in this custom fabric. I had them add a really fun ruffle skirt detail on the bottom so it looks extra feminine and super custom. And now we have a very unique looking chair, and it's also super, super comfortable for those long nights with a newborn. Also, I want to point out these really fun shelves. This is really fun because I get to display some of my favorite little knickknacks and decor. These scallop shells are from Amazon, and I just had them painted in the same color as the wainscoting and the trim. And then I just like to display special items that I've collected over the last 10 months of having Lucy. These are some really cute vintage books of nursery rhymes and fairy stories. I also have a beautiful swan photo, and this plate is an heirloom from an heirloom china set that belonged to my great-grandma. And so I love having that energy and piece of her here. We have her little stuffy up here. And then lastly, we just finished off this corner with a nice IKEA lamp, affordable find. And you have the perfect little reading rocking nook. One of the things I want to point out are these really fun custom curtains that we had made for the room. If you have babies, you know it's really important to have blackout curtains, and sometimes those aren't the prettiest. And I wanted to make these really special looking. So we found these awesome blackout lined curtains that are very heavy duty, and they block out all of the light, so they're very functional. But we had this really fun blush tassel detail stitched onto the inside trim. And I feel like it just adds that next level of luxury and charm to the room. It's these little details that I feel like really pull a room together and make it feel special. So this is Lucy's room. Now I'm really excited to bring you on over to Axel's room. So welcome to Axel's room. Axel is our 3-year-old toddler, and this was one of the first rooms that I designed when renovating the home. When we moved in, I was super pregnant with Axel, and he was about to come any day, and it was really important for me to welcome him home in a beautifully designed nursery. And so this room holds a special place in my heart as one of the first rooms I finished when moving in. So I want to point out the beautiful wallpaper in this room. This is a Morris & Co. print, and it's in a linen and taupe color. It's floral and leafy, and it has little acorns in it, but it still feels very masculine and appropriate for a little boy. I recently transformed his reading chair into a reading nook as he's getting bigger and wants a little bit more independence. So we have these really cool acrylic shelves from Amazon that we seasonally switch out his books so that he can pick out his favorites. And we got this really cool reading tent that he loves to climb in there, play with his toys, listen to his Tony box, read books, and play with his little sister. So this is a really special corner of the room. Over here, you'll see that we still have blackout curtains, but his were a little bit easier to choose because I knew I wanted to go with a dark color. So I chose these blackout velvet curtains from Amazon, and they have been amazing. They block out all the light, and they look really, really luxe, and they didn't break the bank. So that is a really fun element. I love how the green plays off with the neutral and creams of the room to create a very fun vibe. Over here, this is his dressing corner, and this dresser is actually really special because this was a piece from my husband's grandparents that was passed down to him, and I thought it was a great opportunity to put in Axel's room. He loves picking out his clothes, and we have some little vintage cowboy boots up on top. We have some seasonal flowers. He loves cars, so we always have 1 or 2 or 3 cars displayed up here. And I just feel like this little corner is really, really cool. Over here, we actually just recently transitioned him from a crib to a toddler bed. We took off the side, and now he's very comfortable sleeping here, but it still looks really nice. This really fun crib is a brass finish, and I think it really just elevates the whole room. It also plays really nicely with the green and the brown and the cream that we have going on over here. So this room was one of the first times that I really challenged myself to mix patterns. So with the wallpaper, I chose something very floral and organic, and in order to juxtapose that, I chose a plaid carpet and then chose soft finishes like pillows that also mix. So you'll see a gingham and then a floral pillow, as well as the quilt, which again, this is an heirloom quilt that my mom had made for Axel when he was born. And it just really all comes together for a fun mixture of color and pattern. So lastly, we are gonna head over onto our primary suite. So this is our primary room. I love this room, and we obviously spend a lot of time in here. My main priority for this room was creating a calming retreat that we could relax in at the end of a long day. Over here, both my husband and I work from home, and so we do have the office downstairs, but it's really nice to have a little workstation in our bedroom for answering emails or just doing that last minute task. I also think this is a great opportunity to display family photos. I am not a huge, or let's say, you'll see I don't have a ton of family photos around, but I think there are really classic and timeless ways to do it. And doing photos in group gatherings like this in black and white is a really pretty way to do that. And it still almost looks like artwork. And this is actually an old desk from a restaurant that we found on Facebook Marketplace, and David helped me refinish it. And so I think it's really fun to have something old and rustic play off this very feminine skirted desk chair that I love. So when we renovated the home a couple of years ago, we actually added on the entire primary suite situation. So the house actually ended right here, and we added on a closet, a little vestibule, and our primary bathroom. So come on this way. So this is our primary suite. It's a small space, but it is a mighty space, and I'm really proud of what we did in here. We only had the amount of square footage over our downstairs office to build out on. And so we wanted to maximize the space without sacrificing any of the function that you need in a primary bathroom. So one of the things we chose to do was to pitch the ceiling, and that creates an illusion of height. It really draws your eye up. And we also installed shiplap tongue and groove boards on the walls, and all of that detail also tricks your eye into thinking that the room is bigger than it is. When you're also dealing with small spaces, I always try and keep either a really dark color and color drench the room, or go classic and do all white. And here we did all white, and I'm really happy because it feels very spa-like, very calming, and really, really nice place to be. We went with a full-size bathtub, and it's one of our favorite parts of the bathroom. My husband is a big tub guy and he loves it. He's also 6'2", so this bath is big enough for him to relax in. We also installed these really cute cafe curtains on the back. Even though we don't have neighbors towards the back, it is kind of nice for a little privacy when you're in here. Over here we have our shower. In order to make the bathroom feel as big and open as we could, we kept the walls glass, but we did add this pony wall here. It's a little bit more of a traditional classic look. And to make it even more custom looking and special, we ordered this custom shower handle, which I feel just elevates the whole thing a little bit more and makes it feel a little special. One of my favorite things about the bathroom is the checkerboard marble floors. This is a classic pattern, and I knew I wanted to implement it somewhere in the house, and doing our primary bathroom was the perfect opportunity. This is really, really fun detail of our bathroom. And to make it, again, feel as big as we could, we also took the checkerboard pattern into the shower floor, and because we chose a honed finish rather than a polished finish, we don't have to worry about that slipperiness or... Okay, I'm gonna hop in the shower because I wanna highlight the tile. If you will remember, we used the same tile in our kitchen, and I think this callback is a really nice way to make a home feel cohesive if you can use the same materials over and over in different parts of your house. So in this way, we reused some of the extra tile from the kitchen in the bathroom. And again, I just love the different texture. I love the different color variation of this Liège tile. It really creates a very unique look and feels very luxurious. The last little section of our bathroom is our vanity area. This section is really awesome because we had this vanity custom made with our cabinet company. Because this space was so small, we needed something that was sure to fit all of our stuff, and we really wanted a double sink situation, and luckily our cabinet company was able to help with that. So we chose a white oak matte finish vanity, and I love the way that this light wood plays off with the white walls and then the dark floors, and it comes with that very classic, timeless design. I also chose in the bathroom to mix a lot of the metals. So you'll notice that you'll see a lot of brass in the mirrors and the light fixtures, but then all the plumbing fixtures in the room are a polished nickel. And again, I feel like mixing metals just adds to that timeless look that you get in a home. So our countertops are also marble. This was the one space in our house that we splurged on marble countertops, and we thought that it was the perfect space to do so. So I think home means to me is a place where you feel comfortable, you feel happy, you feel at peace. It's somewhere beautiful, but it's also somewhere that functions really well for your family. I have 2 little ones, and so our house does not always look picture perfect. We have toys, we have pets that also have toys, and I think having a home that reflects our personality and beauty, but also reflects the personality and fun spirit of my children is what home means to me. The memories we create here is what makes it so special. All right, Homeworthy, it's been a blast, but I gotta get back to Instagram. See you later.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Neil. Welcome to my home in Chicago, Illinois. I can't wait to show you around. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Neil Wagner. I'm an interior designer and an artist. Welcome to my home in Chicago, Illinois. This home was a commercial space up until about 2016. The owners before I bought it took it and made it a single-family home. The history of it is that it was a brick masonry shop before they renovated, and half of the building was, they had tenants in it, so it was like an apartment / commercial space, and they took it and they made it what it is today, and they put in a skylight, which is what sold me on the house. It's absolutely gorgeous, and because it's between the buildings in Chicago, there's not a lot of light pouring in when you're in the middle of a block, but because of that, above me, it lets in so much natural light, you feel like you're outside most of the time. And it was definitely a selling point of why I bought the house. Welcome to the lounge. I called it a lounge because I thought it looked like something you would find in a high-end, cool hotel. And so I developed 3 different seating areas, and that way it's got little intimate moments of coziness all kind of wrapped together. And this first one is the piano area. I don't play the piano, but I sing, and it plays itself. So you put it on an app and it can play itself, which is really cool, a party thing to do. So I just got this chair, by the way, yesterday from a store here called Jason Home, which I love. I love this color. This is called Mango. So I thought it was a really fun chair, and I love how the back of it is just really interesting. So because when you come in, this is the first thing you see, and it's that pop of color that I wanted people to experience when they came into the house. I also got this sofa from Jason Home right when I moved in, and God, this is like a commercial for Jason Home. But it's a beautiful store here in Chicago. I love it. And I also got these. I had these other acting as my, I used to sell these in our store, Mogul, in Los Angeles. These are like crocheted ottomans, but I was using that as the coffee table. But I wanted something different, and I wanted to use those as the side tables. Also got these 2 pillows from Jason Home. This is from a store in Brazil called Talk Stock. Very cool. The main art piece that people go crazy over is this glass sculpture of the women kind of like coming out of the main block. I love it. When I first got it in Los Angeles, my ex-husband was like, oh, I think we should get this. And I was like, it's really cool, but we're not going to spend that much money. And he talked me into it, and we did, and it's like absolutely one of my most favorite things I've ever bought. This is a Ralph Lauren bar, so, which I love. I don't really drink scotch, but I like looking at it. So we had all these tags made, so it's all the different kinds of scotch. And then these little things, honestly, I put these up at Christmas one year, and I just love them. I got these in Guadalajara, Mexico, when I was down there on a project. And I thought I found, oh my God, the coolest thing ever. And I paid a little bit of money for them because they were new. And I was so excited, and I got back home, and I walked into Pottery Barn, and they were selling the same thing. So there you go. But anyway, I have to say they have lasted for a good, I don't know, 12, 15 years. So they were worth it. I love this chair. It's a Hans Wegner chair, I believe. I got this in LA at a store called H.G. Buttercup. And I just love the suspension cords. And it's fun to sit in. And this is where my cat, Finch, you're probably going to meet Finch somewhere. He's lurking about. But this is where he lives most of the days, his little throne. And I had to like clean all the cat hair off before you came. This is an art gallery wall that I did. And it has a lot of different things that I've collected over the years. Let's see. This one is pop art, or op art, I should say. And I got this in Palm Springs, probably, oh God, 15 years ago. And I loved it, and it had all my favorite colors in it, which is, the oranges, the ambers, the burnt siennas, and chocolate brown. And then this, I was in Paris, and I took a photo with my iPhone, and I blew it up, and I framed it. And I love it, and I love this frame that it's in. It's sort of like it's like it looks burned, it's like charred wood. And I loved how that turned out. It's a cool piece, and who doesn't love the Eiffel Tower? Over here, this is one of my paintings. I painted, God, I guess about 3 years ago. And I do abstract paintings. This crater is the very first piece of art that I bought with my ex-husband, as far as serious art. And it's copper, and it's indented, and honestly, I don't know who did it, but this thing is so heavy. I don't want to check it off the wall. I may not get it back on. And then I found this in Palm Springs. It's like a brutalist tree. I love anything brutalist from the brutalist movement and time, and it just brings me joy. I don't know. It's very cool. And then I did this painting over here. It's sort of like of a waterfall. And then I got this statue here, and it's very heavy. I guess it's bronze, in Palm Springs at a really cool vintage store there that I would go to. Rock is from Brazil, and then you'll see a lot of plants here, and I have to say, I probably don't have to say this, but I'm going to, most of my plants are not real. And the reason why is because I had a second home in Palm Springs when I lived in Los Angeles, and you couldn't keep plants there because we would go out maybe once or twice a month. And so to have the place look like it was a home, we started doing fake plants. And then we started selling them in our store, and they got really good. I mean, the plants now, people can't tell the difference between the real and the fake. And I say, go for it. I love real plants, and I am pretty good at doing them, but there's nothing wrong with a fake plant, so go for it. So let's go into the next section, which is the main section of the lounge. It's got matching sofas that I designed in Los Angeles. And we also did these chairs. These were our most popular chair, which is a Milo Bauman, but we did them in a bigger scale. And then I just got these lamps here from a fabulous vintage store here called Dial M for Modern. And Tim is the owner, and he's getting to know him. He's really cool. And I found these, so these are brutalist too. and I love them. I had a lamp like this in Los Angeles, and I sold it in my store. And then when I saw these, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly the lamp that I used to have, or it's very similar to it, and they had a pair, so got them. And then I found these really cool lights on Amazon. Then this table here is a really cool table. It's like the trunk of a tree, and I got it in Los Angeles at Berber Imports, which there's other things I got from there. They get things in from Asia. And so this is stunning, and it's got like those little bow ties in them that hold some of the pieces together, and they're just beautiful. And then I got this from CB2, which is beautiful. And we sold this in our store. This is some kind of crystal, but they did it on glass. So I'm not for sure how that's done, but all I know is that I love it, and it brings me joy. So now this plant's real, okay? That one's real. I got that from Gethsemane Garden yesterday. But anyway, this is the book I'm holding here it's planets. When I saw this book, I think we sold this in our store, and I saw it for the first time. I was like, oh my God, that speaks to me, because when I do art, I love topography. So I love like aerial shots of when you're in an airplane and you fly over, a city or mountains or the desert, and you see it from above. And so a lot of my artwork in my head is that. That's what I'm trying to capture, something like that, where you're viewing it from above. Just looking through the book, there's beautiful quotes from Galileo and Strada, Confucius, that he's mixed in with his art. And I have to say, his art really speaks to me. And it's a wonderful book to have. So, and then I love this book too. This is Monumental Paris, which Paris is one of my favorite cities in the whole wide world. And so this is just a whole like photo book of beautiful outdoor shots of Paris and all of its buildings and architecture and museums and statues. It's inspiring. I love Paris. It's just the most amazing city in the world, next to Chicago. I got these lamps over here, also from Dial M for Modern. They're just really cool, like swing arm lamps. And they have the really cool like Edison bulb in them. So they put out a pretty light at night. And these we sold at my store in Los Angeles. I can't remember, I got this from High Fashion Home or something like that. I loved these. So these are hide strips, and it's all sewn together in this pattern. I got this from CB2. It's a leather woven pillow. And also the throw is a faux fur from CB2, which I love. These are actually hematite votives. So this weighs a ton. I mean, they don't look heavy, but I mean, I don't know, maybe like 30 pounds. It's like a barbell, and they're beautiful, and they're actually votives. But I like them as plants because I wanted to see a little bit of green here, so I use them as like a little fake plant for my vases. And then I've got some coffee table books here, and this is actually from CB2 too. I love CB2. They have beautiful things. And I got these pillows there. This is one of my paintings here that I did. And then this is a Joshua tree from Joshua Tree, obviously near Palm Springs. We bid on it at an art auction, and we won the auction. And I love it. And this is such a beautiful photo. And I got this. These are I think they're like 3 nuns or something. I don't know. But I got this in Palm Springs at a vintage store. And this one too. I think I got these both at the shops at 1345 in Palm Springs, which is a collective store right as you're going into Palm Springs. It's the people in Los Angeles know it very well. It's like a pink building, like a desert rose. Okay, and so these pieces I got in Palm Springs at a store called Hedge. They're on Perez Road, and they have amazing things. They're really nice guys too. But anyway, this is an artist, I believe, from Bali or Malaysia or somewhere like that. and I love them. And then these are from Brazil. These are necklaces that it's from a tree, so they're like, pods. And I had my guy make shadow boxes for them. So this gold one and that black one. And then this is Fornasetti pillows that I had framed. And I thought it was fun to do them sort of like when you go into a photo booth and you get that strip. So I did the 4 in the row because he used the same model for all of his works. And I thought that would be kind of fun if she were, I don't know, that's what went through my head. I'm weird that way. But, and then these are from an artist in Guadalajara when we went down and were working on a hotel and bar project. They were going to use these for the bathroom doors. Instead of men and women, they were just going to have that. And that was like 20 years ago. But I bought them for me, and I loved them. And then this is one of my paintings here that I did, just sort of like an abstract floral. Okay, so this is the final area of the lounge. I wanted to create a spot to have, a cocktail or something more intimate. And these chairs I had made in Los Angeles when we had our house in Palm Springs, and we did yellow as the punch color there. So I did that. This is from Crate and Barrel, I think, this table. This is a picture of my parents, one of my favorite shots of my parents, and they were high school sweethearts. And this is, believe it or not, they were on their senior trip, and they're from a little town in Indiana called Ireland, Indiana. That's where I'm from. And the senior trip, they went to Washington, D.C., and they went to New York. And so this is how they dressed in I guess it was like 52, 53, I think it would be. And I mean, they look like little fashion models. So I just love it. And they're like kind of looking off camera. And I'm trying to find this storefront in New York because I want to see if I can still find it, see if it's still in existence. I got the rug, I think, at CB2, and this is from Jason Home here in Chicago. And then we sold these, we would make these. Well, I was living in Palm Springs previous to moving here. Home there was very Palm Springs, sort of, I lived in a Spanish, like a revival, a newer Spanish revival, and I had a lot of furniture that I had just made for it. And so when I saw this space, I thought it was perfect because it's more California than looking Chicago. So I thought that was a good fit. And in LA, I had a store called Mogul. I was one of the founders of Mogul, which is still there. It's in the Pacific Design Center. And I had it with my ex-husband, Thomas. I made furniture, I designed furniture, I did interior design, I did art, and we had the store since 2005. And it just was a great segue to move to Chicago and all of my life with me instead of like starting all over with new furniture. And there's just pieces that I love that I wanted to bring. So that was the reason why I chose this space. It really fit what I already had, but then I also, once I got here, of course, I couldn't help myself. I got more furniture, of course, as people do, and it just warmed up the space. It's sort of like a white box when I first moved into it. The previous owner was an artist as well, and it was more like an art gallery setup. So when I walked into it, obviously all the furniture was out, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? It is literally a white box with an amazing skylight. But then I just kind of thought, I'm gonna treat it like I would any of my design projects. And this, underneath the skylight, I thought I was gonna set it up like a hotel lobby. So it has 3 different seating areas, and it gave it such personality. The more and more I added to it, and it was like, oh my God, yeah, this is working. And so I love the colors of amber and gray. Those are probably my go-to colors as a designer. And I love amber and gray, black and white, and gold. Those are primarily what you'll see. And then yellow is my punch color here. So as I was working on it, it just sort of came to life, and I absolutely love it, and I'm very proud of it. welcome to my breakfast area. This is honestly the place that I have the most meals at. I think because it's a round table and it's got this curved banquette, people just gravitate towards it. I have a formal dining table, which you'll see, but everyone loves this area, and I do too. I recently just painted the wall this color, and it really just kind of like grounded it and made it feel really warm and inviting and cozy. It's a paint color from Benjamin Moore called Brunswick Beige. And I had done it at both of my sister's houses. I've always loved it, and I was like, it's the perfect color to go with the drapes that I got and everything that was happening in this painting. This painting is an artist by the name of Richard Mann. I would say it's oil that he somehow puts water into, and it gives this effect. But we had a couple of his paintings, and I have this one. And this was at my house in Palm Springs too. And it's got the yellow in it, obviously, that I love. And I love looking at it. It just brings me joy. And then I recently got these from a store I just discovered called My Modern Oasis. And they're candle sconces. And when you see it at night, all of the candle flame, which these are battery operated, by the way, I love them, is reflected in them. So they kind of like multiply. So it looks like, whatever there is, like 8. So it's like 8 flames on each side of it, and it does a beautiful glow at night. And I got this, these are, you can see, these are slide apart. These are banquette. The banquette is like in 3 pieces. And I got this at a really cool store in Palm Springs. And then these pillows we had made for the Palm Springs house. And then these are chairs that I had made that are a Kelly Wearstler inspired design. I love Kelly Wearstler. She's a god to me. And so, but I had this fabric, and I thought, oh, this would be so cool on this shape of chair that she did. So I had my upholsterer make these for me. And they're just really a fun take on a chair. And then this table is sort of a Saarinen kind of like design. And this is from Restoration Hardware. I got that in LA. And just a really cool drift bowl with some fake succulents in it. And then this is a Kelly Wearstler Sputnik chandelier lighting fixture. And I got that in LA when I was there. So it's kind of like my homage to Kelly Wearstler. And then over here, I got this at Berber Imports in Los Angeles. So it's actually a fountain. There's a hole here. And I have the base in the garage. But since it's winter, I don't have it outside. And I kind of started using it as just, an indoor piece of art. And it's really pretty, and I like it. And I also got this from them, I think, which weighs a ton. And the legs are, I don't know, solid steel, because it has to support, this is petrified wood. It's a cool shape, kind of like an amoeba shape. And I got these, which I thought were really nice. We had these in my Los Angeles house. Like little bronze lily pads or something, or lilies. And then the bookcases I got from RH Modern, and they're very heavy. This took 4 people to bring this into the house. Like, this is solid. They are serious about their bookcases. And I loved it because I love brown and gold together, and I just styled it up with, frames with my family and my friends and the books that I love. These are my favorite chairs. They're probably one of my favorite things in the whole house. They swivel, and I made these in Los Angeles when I was there. And they're fun. Everyone wants to sit in the swivel chairs, as I'm sure you know. That's the most fun chair to sit in, because you can sit here, and when I have my grandnephews in, they did this and watched TV, and you're sitting by the fire, and this is where we opened up our Christmas gifts. It's just really fun. And this painting I had for the longest time. I got it, I want to say, maybe early 2000s with my ex-husband. And for the longest time, I didn't realize it's a figure. It's a lady laying down. I just thought it was an abstract, and I liked the colors in it. And then one day I was like, oh my God, it's a figure. Someone's laying down. She's like, here's her leg. Now you can see it. And I'm like, now I can't unsee it. And her arm. I don't know why I didn't notice it before, but anyway, it's really cool. And I got this in Palm Springs, and then I had it framed. It was just kind of like leaning somewhere there. And this fireplace came with the house this way. I was originally going to like retile it, but then when I put the art on it, I kind of liked it. So I'm keeping it for now. And then this is the other bookcase that matches the other one. Yeah, so the painting up there is a vintage one from a cool store in Palm Springs that I got a lot of amazing artwork at those vintage stores. So I'm sure if you go to Palm Springs, you'll see all the vintage stores, the home stores, which are amazing. And then these are, I love these. These are my favorite. They're so cool. I guess they're gazelles. I don't know, but they're bookends. And so they hold my books. And then this is my grandnephew, Eli, gave us for Christmas our initials. He did this in his little wood shop he had, I guess. His mom and him, they like doing projects. So my initials, NW. And this is, all these three vases here are from Salviati, which is a fabulous glass company from Italy. And we sold these in our store. And I love them. And I have one of these, like, I don't know if you've ever seen these. These are amazing, by the way. Oh, there. They're like flame candles. And you just charge them, you know. And I've had these, I think they were like $50 each, but I got them like 8 years ago. And you just charge them. They last for like a week, and then you just recharge it. And they're on a timer, so once you set it, it comes on every night, and it looks like there's fire going all over your house. I love it. And then this I got in Venice recently as a little souvenir when I went to the islands of Murano and saw them blow the glass. I love these two. These are, I guess, a rooster and a hen. I don't know. Or maybe they're two roosters. They're probably two roosters. I love those. And I have old cameras. I collect these really cool old cameras. I just think they're fun. I had one growing up, and that's why I would play with it. And so it's not the one I grew up with, but it's similar. And yeah, so then this is, we did these chairs, and this is real suede, so I don't sit here all that much. This isn't the micro suede, this is the real suede. And I love them, and I got these pillows at CB2. This piece behind me is from an artist named John Millay. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He's a Los Angeles and I think in Santa Barbara based artist. And he had a showing at the Ace Gallery in Beverly Hills. And we got a couple of pieces for us. This one and a little bit smaller one. But it's from his Maritime series. And I absolutely love it. It's different layers of paint, and it's like translucent. So it's supposed to be like the ropes, I think, on a ship. So, you know, they're just kind of like, you see it. When you get up close, you can kind of like see all the different layers he did. And it's some things you can see through it. And I just love the visual that it gives. Between these chairs, I found this basket, believe it or not, at Target. And I wanted a little cocktail table here. And it fit exactly with this tray I already had. So I just put the tray on top of it. And it's like a little storage basket. But I thought it was really cool. And then I had this. I think we sold this in our store at one point. And then this I got from Crate and Barrel, which I love this color, obviously. And then this lamp is, where did I get this lamp? I got this lamp in Palm Springs. And I love it. It's a brutalist style lamp. I think I used to have a pair of them, but we sold them. And so when I found this one, I was like, I have the space for it. Yeah, and then so this sectional I designed and had made in Los Angeles. And the pillows are all woven leather, these rust-colored ones. There was a artisan that she would weave leathers, and then I guess she was retiring, and so she asked if we would want to buy the contents of her showroom, and so we did. And then we did furniture with it, headboards and throw pillows. And so I have some here. And then these are from Crate and Barrel, these two here. And that yarn pillow is from Mogul. This one here, the crocheted one. It's very cool. Love it. It's got, it's very tactile, you know. I got a whole little nautical theme going on. This coffee table I made, I wanted something for my outside in Los Angeles that could go outside. And so I had my wood guy, Marvin, make it for me. And it is scratched, as I can see right now. Yeah, I gotta fix that. But it's made of teak wood. And it's sitting on some chain bases that we sold at Mogul. They're very, very heavy, and they're very cool. And so I set it on there. I just kind of created my own coffee table with it, and that was the whole purpose behind those chain bases, that you could use whatever you wanted to use it for. They could be a big coffee table, a little coffee table, an end table. And then this, I love this vase. It's like a twisted glass vase, and I love these. These are probably one of my favorite things I have. I absolutely love them. I just think they're this chartreuse color, and I guess I got them at some kind of floral wholesale place when we got the fake plants, but just loved it. And I just got this tray from CB2. This we sold at Mogul. It's very pretty. It's very heavy. It's a lid. It's like a little gem cut lid to it. And then these two little bowls are from Palm Springs, and I put some limes in them. My favorite things about this house is obviously the natural light that the skylight gives. And you know, it's just throughout the day it changes because obviously the clouds go over, and so on sunny days it's a completely different experience than when it's an overcast day. And then when it snows, you know, you see the snow on the skylight, and when it rains, it's like sitting underneath a tin roof, and hearing that rain is just absolutely soothing and amazing. And everyone, when they come to stay here and it's raining, that's what they comment on. They love that. And I love that it's all open, yet it still feels cozy. The other things that I love about it are the size and the scale of the rooms. This is, I would guess, probably like 15 feet high in this skylight area. And the rooms just have a very grand feel about them. And even in the master bedroom is very grand. And that just kind of, I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're in Mexico City or somewhere when you see all of it. Yeah. I also love the floors, I think, are great. They're like blonde wood, and that helps with the white walls to just give the light, the light bounces around a lot. And lately I've been putting in accent walls of rust and gold and like this really pretty terracotta pink. So that really helped warm up the space. Yeah, those are, and I love entertaining in this home. For Christmas I had like 6 Christmas trees up. I like Christmas. I'm a little crazy about that. But it was just beautiful, and the flow of the parties are great. You know, people can come in and out of the living room and into the bedrooms and into the kitchen, and it's lit really pretty. And I love that about it. It's unusual for Chicago because Chicago doesn't normally have lofts like this or converted buildings. They do downtown, which I looked at, the brick and timber ones, which I love too. But I love the area that I live is a neighborhood called Andersonville, which is very charming. I think it was voted the first or second coolest neighborhood in the United States by Time Out magazine. And it's got great mom and pop boutiques and restaurants and shops. And it just feels like you're like in a little town, but you're in a major city. So that was really nice. Okay, that's that. And so now I'm gonna show you my kitchen, which is right next to this, and it's all open. So you can kind of like follow me in here. This is an unusual kitchen for me to have. I probably would never have designed it this way, but I'm leaning into it and then trying to enjoy it as it is. But I have met with with a designer at Scavallini. These are Scavallini, and they're very beautiful cabinets. I just would never have done like all black, all floor, you know, it's a lot. But I will say it holds a lot, and I'm kind of liking it because it's just very minimal and modern. So I'm trying to embrace it. But there, you know, all of this is just full of storage. So, and I had a lot of stuff, and trust me, it's all full. You know, this is Caesar stone countertop that they put in, which I love, and I use Caesar stone. We actually used to represent it in my store in Los Angeles. It's an amazing product, and this is beautiful. But I might change this out to more of some kind of marble or marble-looking countertop, and maybe have it be a waterfall that kind of goes down. But you know, I love it. And then above here, this is a color called 36 Hours in Marrakesh by Backdrop. I saw it on Pinterest, and I ordered a sample, like a $5 sample, got it, and I was like, you know, I want to try adding like a rose terracotta to it. When I was in college, my very first place I lived, I decorated it, of course. You know, that's what a college student should do. But anyway, it was the colors, it was similar to these colors. And so I knew they would work. And it really like helped kind of like warm up the space, because before that it was just sort of odd. And now it's cool. And I added like these like kind of desert plants above it. So it's kind of got some sort of Moroccan feel to it. And then here, these horse heads are cool. I got these also from Berber Imports in Los Angeles. And then some of these are the succulents that we would sell at our store. We would make them and sell them in our store. And then the hurricane lamps are, I think they're from Crate and Barrel, actually. So this is a very heavy, beautiful marble horse head that I brought from Los Angeles. And I didn't really like how, I needed something here. And when we were moving things around, this got placed here just while everything was being opened. And I thought, oh, that actually kind of looks cool there. So I put it here. And it was outside, actually, of my Palm Springs house in the heat. So it lasted that, it'll last anywhere. Yeah, no, I really like it. And it's on a petrified stump, which weighs a lot. So yeah, this is not gonna go anywhere. The cat cannot tip this over. And then here I have my buffet, which has all the napkin rings in it and the placemats. And these lamps are really cool. I don't know where I got these, to be quite honest. I think we got these and we sold these at my store, Mogul. But then this piece of art I got from Palm Springs. And it's a take on whoever this artist is, plus like Banksy. So someone did an interpretation of it, and I just absolutely loved it. It's a fun kind of like piece, and it's honestly one of my favorite things that I have. I love it. And yeah, and this is a real plant. See, I do real plants. This black, but I thought it was so cool. I think it's some kind of begonia. And I got this from my Modern Oasis as well. And then this is the dining table, which I designed and had made in Los Angeles at my wood shop that we worked with. And the rug I picked out and had it bound, and also from Los Angeles. And then these dining chairs are from Williams-Sonoma Home. And I just love the frame of them. It's just really, really cool. And I saw them, and I was like, I just love those chairs. I just love those chairs. And they actually sold it in a color very similar to this leather, but when I went to buy them, they no longer, I think they were discontinuing this chair, and they only had them in black. So I found leather that I loved, and I had them reupholstered in this color. And then this, I think, is beautiful. This is from CB2. This is out now in their showroom in the front window, and I loved it. I just love this color wood. I love that color wood. And then over here, we have Neptune, which was at my house in Los Angeles, in Studio City. It was outside, and I think we got this on La Brea somewhere there, this whole piece. So he sits on this base. And then when we got the Palm Springs house, I moved into Palm Springs, and he was in front of the guest house at the end of the pool. So he was a great visual there, and I loved him. And so I thought, you know what? I don't really have that much outdoor space here in Chicago, so I'm going to put him inside the house. The mirror, I think the mirror I got from Restoration Hardware, like RH Modern. And then I had these shutter sort of things made in Los Angeles, and so it's like a wire grid, and then we just stuck in all these fake succulents. And this was actually outside, and so this was like green moss at one point. Now it's gray, but I kind of like it. It kind of like gives it more dimension that way. And next we have one of my, honestly, it's probably my favorite object that I own, which is this horse. I don't know much about it, but when I saw it, I immediately wanted it. And I would say it's probably from the 60s, and it's a brutalist design. So it's this horse, and he is up on his back hooves there, his back legs, and the tail is like supporting it. So it's his 2 feet and the tail that holds him up. And I just love the mane and how exaggerated it was, and I just love it. I'm from a farm in Indiana, and I went to the University of Evansville on a voice scholarship. I was a big singer in my little town, the wedding singer, I think they called me. I would sing at all of these churches and got to be known for that. And then I switched to theater and got my degree in theater and art. In 1990, I moved from Chicago to Los Angeles, and I started working on the lots of the movie studios. And I was doing some set dressing, and then I ended up doing accounting for about 10 years, paying all of the cast and crew and all the vendors. And so I got to know a lot of people through that, and set decorating people. And I would have parties, and the set decorating people that I knew would come over to my house. One in particular, Richard, said, "Oh my gosh, you should be doing what I'm doing." So, and he was a set decorator. So he hired me on a show called Sunset Beach, which was an Aaron Spelling daytime drama. And so I did set dressing on that for a while. And at the same time, I was in a relationship with my ex-husband, and we joined forces and started a business called Belux. And so that was on Melrose for about 2 or 3 years. And we had business partners with that, and then we ended that, and we segued into the store that I had for 20 years with him called Mogul. And that's also in Melrose, it was, and now it's in the Pacific Design Center, beautiful showroom. And so through that, we'd go to Palm Springs, and we would go to vintage stores and find the really cool mid-century pieces and bring them back to Los Angeles and mix them into our store. And that with creating our own brand of furniture and bed linens, and I did the art for the store. My art kind of like took off from that. And all at the same time, we were designing furniture, doing interior design work. We started getting celebrity clients. The store just kind of exploded, and my life just completely changed. I sold my half of Mogul to my ex-partner, my ex-husband, in 2022, and I moved here. And so now I'm just kind of doing smaller projects, and I'm getting back out there, and I took some time off, and I'm enjoying just being here in Chicago and getting back into it, and the painting and the decorating. It's a true passion of mine. I literally wake up and just start thinking about, design. So, and I am constantly looking on YouTube and Pinterest, and I can't get enough of it. So I'm a little bit addicted to it, but I found a way to turn my addiction into something that was lucrative. Okay, so next is this little area right outside the powder room that I painted this wall, this beautiful like russet rust color. I think it's called warm cognac. I'm not for sure. I think that's what it is. And I had gotten this in Los Angeles at Berber Imports. It's just like a beautiful piece of actual tree roots, and it's a table, obviously. And then I got this at my Modern Oasis this last weekend, and it's real, mixed with some fake plants, but and then I love this. This is one of my favorite sketches that I've ever bought. I got it in New York, and it is an artist from Canada. It's written here. I don't know the person's name, but I loved it, and I think it was a she. I think she did a lot of horse sketches like that, and that's the one that we loved. So I thought it was a perfect spot for her. And then, and here's my powder room right here. In here, I decided to do the collection that I have from a friend of mine named Chris Burbach, and he is an artist based in Palm Springs. And I started carrying his artwork in our store, and I started collecting it. And so it was just, the whole room has his art in it, and it sort of like acts as like a wallpaper for it. So it's like pop celebrities or iconic figures in Hollywood. And my favorite thing though, and I'll show it to you right now, is that Cher, who I love, is, you can see her when I'm at my kitchen sink. She's like reflected in that, and she's doing that iconic like Cher pose from, the Cher Show or Sonny and Cher. And he did Madonna for me. This is ABBA. I love ABBA. And President Biden, Kamala Harris, Cher, Mick Jagger. And then he even did one of me, which I don't know that I would ever really had someone do it other than like some other artist. I don't know. I don't know if I can even, I don't know. I felt weird about asking him to do one for me, but I thought if I ever were to have my portrait done, it would be a really cool way to do it. So he obliged and did one for me. And so these are, this is Rihanna, who was one of my clients back in Los Angeles, Bette Midler, who I love, Dolly, who doesn't love Dolly, Tina Turner, who I think is absolutely amazing. I saw her in concert, loved her, and Diana Ross, who shopped in my store. So these are all, those are available online if you go to Chris Burbach, research him, but he sells these. These are framed prints, and then these are the original ones. And then above here, you'll see some other ones that are Madonna and George Michael and Elvis and Freddie Mercury, Obama, Barbra Streisand, Diana Ross. So yeah, and then this chandelier is Seguso. So it's an Italian chandelier from probably, I would say, the 60s or the 70s. And it's one of my favorite chandeliers that I've ever owned. And then I have, these are amazing too. These are glass sculptures. They're just made of like two different mediums. And so they blend it together somehow, but they're absolutely stunning. And you can kind of like see when they catch the light. Like this one's really cool. It's like stairs going down. I love it. Very, very, very nice. And at night I have a candle behind it, so it's a cool effect. For me, what gives a home a soul is when the people that live there, it's represented in every aspect of the home. Whether it's the things that you collect or the art on the wall, even the fabric that you choose for your sofa. When I work with clients, I find out what it is about them that makes them tick, what they gravitate towards, and what gives them joy, and I build from that. So I do many, many different types of looks. And then I've also, did Spanish-style houses in Beverly Hills and mid-century houses, traditional houses. I had a traditional house in LA with my ex-husband that was beautiful, and that was very Ralph Lauren. We always said it was Ralph Lauren meets Tom Ford. And that was a stunning home with an amazing backyard. And then the one in Palm Springs that I did was more Spanish. So I love doing every style of home, and I think that I can adapt to whatever the client wants. And I truly have a love for so many different styles of homes that I never really get bored. And it's always a challenge for me. And I have a lot of fun with that. So welcome to the primary bedroom. Right here I have, I saw this idea on Pinterest actually. And I love the way they displayed coffee table books, because normally they're stacked on a coffee table or on a nightstand and you don't really get to see the covers. So I thought that was such a clever way of displaying, the coffee table books. So I had these made, and it's just some of my, favorite books that I have, and it was sort of like, like a piece of art for the bedroom. And yeah, I used to carry these books in the store. And this one, I can't remember where I got this from. I got that from somewhere else, but just beautiful designers and car books and Africa and Los Angeles, New York, just kind of all different things throughout my life and things that I love. And then here, this is the iconic poolside glamour shot from Palm Springs. So I got this, God, we got that, I would say early 2000s at a store in Palm Springs. It was a vintage shop, they were selling it. And it weighs a ton. It's an acrylic frame, and so that's had to really be secured to the wall. When I lived in Palm Springs, I would drive by this house a lot. So I love it for that. And these lamps are from Italy, I believe the late 60s, early 70s. And I just think they're so beautiful, and they make great nighttime lights. Like the light is just beautiful at night when you see it. It's not in your face. And it's just kind of like glowing. And I think I got those nightstands at Crate and Barrel, actually, had those. The bed I made, I designed this bed, and it's a nice, king-size bed. And on here I just got some pillows from CB2 that I loved. I love these graphic black and cream. And then this faux fur in cream. And then this I got from Suki Modern, which is in Palm Springs. It's in the shop's at 1345. He sells Moroccan rugs and purses and clothing. And my cat loves it. And there's just cat hair all the time on here. And it's like, it's impossible to keep clean, and I just don't care. But I do love the pom-poms on it. They're really kind of fun, and it goes all the way to the floor. And it keeps him from being on my main quilt. And then I did this painting probably a year or two ago. I can't remember when I did that. Then these lamps are really cool. I got these in Palm Springs, and they are from, I want to say, the Sahara Casino Hotel. They were in the High Roller Suites back in the late 60s. And, as you can see, the lampshades are so exaggerated. And then the bases are like carved flowers and with this like gold brushed paint on them. I just loved them. And these are more chairs that we made in Los Angeles. Made this was called our Sunset Plaza sofa. And then the artwork is, this I bought when I moved here. It was my first piece of art that I bought when I moved to Chicago. And it's from, I did some research on it. It was an art teacher, I think in Milwaukee. So it's ceramic and it weighs a lot. But I love the colors in it. And it's also sort of brutalist looking. And the glazing on it is incredible. And then I had it framed in this kind of like natural frame. Yeah, and then this is a really beautiful kind of like underwater scene. I don't know if you can see it in the light, but it's really pretty. I put it near the window so you could see the depth of it. It's just like this beautiful teal and turquoise ocean scene. And it's on this, I would say it's, I don't know, shellacked or not shellacked, acrylic. They probably poured acrylic over it. And it's just this beautiful finish. Love it. And yeah, and then I have my collection of prayer gods. I think these are Chinese prayer gods. I want to say that. I got these at Dwight Pollan in Palm Springs, and I started collecting them. So the idea is that you're supposed to write out your wish or your prayer for your family, and you would put it in the back where this little hole is, and then you cover it with mud, and then you bury them. And then the gods are supposed to answer your prayers. But yeah, so I started collecting all of them, and I love them because they're aged and they have such history to them. And here's something, there's still something in there. Yeah, so they're really nice. And this is something I got from, I want to say, CB2 when I moved here. No, I got that in Los Angeles. But it has all of my videos and things we don't watch anymore because you don't do DVDs anymore, I guess, but I couldn't get rid of them. There's an artist in Brazil that takes fishing nets from the oyster farming, when they drain or catch the oysters in the nets. She takes the nets and she dyes them and she turns them into pieces of art. So this is a beautiful thing, but usually her things don't really have like a shape to them. They're just sort of like these random pieces, and you kind of put them all over your wall, like a big one, like a dragon would be on the wall. But this one I could fit in the suitcase better. And this is my, there's two bathrooms. I'll show you one because that one is Finch's. That's my cat. And then this one is mine. And this is a piece of photography I got this from Grace Home in Palm Springs, and it's a famous photo from the 1960s. And I'm sorry I don't know who did it, but it's really cool. He's got little scuba gear, and I like his little polo. He's underwater. And this is a painting that I did recently. It's got a lot of vibrant colors in it. And I don't know. That's one of the things where I think it looks like it's overhead and there's something happening and it's exploding above the water. And then lastly is this bear print I just bought. And I just thought he was so cute. From Instagram, there's a guy I follow, and he releases prints, and so I had him framed, and I think he's adorable. And so yeah, so the bathroom is, this is how I found it. I just painted the walls the same color as the dining room. This is Brunswick beige to kind of warm it up, and the tile, goes up and it goes on to the wall. So it's just kind of like a more modern bathroom. It's not really what I would have chose, but I think it's cool. So I'm just trying to lean into someone else's design and seeing if I like it. And I wanted to just kind of like live in the house for a while to see how I live, and if I'm going to stay here long term, then I might do some more changes, and I might redesign the bathroom and put something else in there that I would maybe have liked. But I think it's beautiful. Okay, so this is my entryway, and these chairs we sold in my store in Los Angeles, Mogul, and this is all woven leather. So it's very sturdy, and my cat, he decides to climb up the back of it and sit on top. Here he is in action. Like, yeah, Now, could you stop him from doing that? No, I don't think so. Yeah, he likes it. This horse we sold in our store, and I had it framed in this gold frame. These sconces are from RH Modern, Restoration Hardware. And this table is from a company called Oli. This is resin. It's very thick, acrylic resin, and it weighs a lot. But I love it, and it's just such a beautiful color because I love amber. I got these little figurines in Guadalajara. They're like two-faced. You can turn their heads around. They're kind of like little, I don't know, monsters or henchmen. I don't know what they are, but an artist was making them, and I loved them, so I bought them. And these are from CB2. This is from CB2, and the pillows are from Mogul. And this is a rug that my ex-husband and I designed. It's this chain link design. And my cat has decided that it's a scratching post. So, and it's a scratching post that lays on the ground. So you'll see like little pieces of yarn everywhere, but that's all right. And this is a really cool piece. This is by Alexander Colonial. He usually does huge works in metal, and he did this, and we carried these in our store. Here's his name, Alexander Colonial. But it's just stunning, and it's bronze, and I love it. And then all along here is my art. I paint upstairs. I have a little art studio upstairs, and I paint. And some of these, though, are from my other homes. So like I painted this in probably Los Angeles, but this one's new. And they're all kind of like abstracts. I love Jackson Pollock. I love Mark Rothko, and I get inspiration from, so many different types of art of that era. And this one I just recently did this summer. And these three I did this summer. And right here, before we go on, this one is, I did this, and this was in our store window for a long time. So it's 4 panels that I did. And my friends, Mark and Mike, designed this bench, and I love it. So that's kind of went with us everywhere, went with me everywhere. This is by an artist, Michael Wilson, who his wife worked for Cynthia, and he was working in this medium, and so we started carrying his things at our store, and he's beautiful, and he's a very accomplished artist, and I'm very humbled that I get to have this. It's stunning, and I recently oiled it all back up, and it brought back the beauty of it. It's just incredible. And so all of these, the rest of the paintings are mine too. These are kind of what I was known for a while, was this. Gosh, I would say this is 2005, 2006, I was doing these kind of things, which is very Jackson Pollock inspired. But I did these for my store, and a hotel designer that I was working with at the time, Dodd Mitchell, was redoing the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, and he wanted them for one of the suites. So it's kind of cool that my art got into the Hollywood Hotel. And actually, I did these for one of our clients, Rihanna. She loved it, and she has a set of these, and then she has one that's just all like pink. It's kind of like this, but I painted pink all over it, and it's kind of like a shell. But yeah, it's just, that was kind of like my claim to fame were these paintings. This one is just kind of more like, I think of bamboo when I did this one. So it's this gold piece that has like bamboo ribs in it, and like what a bamboo would have, and I just kind of an abstract thing with gold paint and kind of like a black all over it to age it and to give it that rustic feel. And then these 3 I did all at the same time. These were in my house in Los Angeles, and there's kind of like, I think of like this dandelions and the negative and the positive, and this is sort of like an artichoke. So it was just kind of like my interpretation of that. And then this last one is my most recent one, which I was always working in neutral colors, as you can see. Like a lot of these are neutral colors, blacks, whites, browns, golds, and like burnt sienna and camel. And then I started doing color this summer, and I love it. I think I'm gonna start really painting in color now. So this has got greens and blues in it, but it's still got my gold that I love. And yeah, it's always fun to be inspired and to continue on and grow as an artist, and I have so much to learn, and I love it all. I think home is a place where you feel that you are you. And I feel that through design and collecting things that you love, and to surround yourself with the things that you are passionate about is what a home should be. And once you have that around you, it's like the set for your life, and you are the star in it. I feel that most people want that in their home. They want to feel like when they come home, it is a true representation of who they are, and not who their decorator is or who their designer is, but who they are. And That is the challenge, but that is the goal, is to, when that person walks in and they gasp and they say, "You got me." That is why I do it, is for that, so that they feel like it's their home, but they never would have been able to do it on their own, but they feel like it's them. So that's what I think home is when it truly represents who you are. Bye, Homeworthy. It was truly wonderful having you here and showing you around my home here in Chicago, Illinois. Have a lovely day.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Jillian. Welcome to my 595 square foot apartment in Chicago. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Jillian Yeager. I work in commercial real estate and do content creation on the side. We are in Chicago in my Lincoln Park apartment. I moved here in September of 2024. I ended up in this apartment because I had been living in a walk-up in Lincoln Park with a roommate for 3 years, and I decided it was time to move into my own space. So I looked around different parts of the city, but I knew I wanted to be in the Lincoln Park area, and I stumbled upon this beautiful space. It's perfect for one person. It's 595 square feet, so it's tiny, but it's perfect for me. I really wanted something that was gonna be open and airy and also modern. Something that drew me to the space was the big window. So having those open big windows is so nice because it lets so much light in and honestly just makes the space feel so much bigger than it is. Welcome to my living room. It comes right off the kitchen, so very easy access, but this has to be one of my favorite spaces in my home. This photo means a lot to me because right before my grandma passed away, she let me and my 3 sisters each pick out an art piece from her home, and during that time, I was going through more of a sad moment in life, and the picture originally had a very dark matte and a very dark frame, and I kind of thought of it as like a moody image. It kind of matched what I was going through at the time in my life. And about 3 years after I picked this out, I ended up actually getting to see it at home. And when I looked at the picture after 3 years, I realized that it's not at all a moody picture. It's a very beautiful picture, and the boat is named Beauty, and I think it's just overall a beautiful picture that kind of represents that sometimes when you're going through storms, you have to go through those to kind of get to the beautiful parts of life. And I think that life is so beautiful and precious, and every day when I look at it, it's just a reminder that everybody can make it through their toughest times, toughest challenges, and it's just a beautiful photo for me to always remember her and just that life is beautiful. So that's something that I love looking at every day. We have some fun stuff underneath. I kind of sourced everything from different spaces. I have this cute little vintage bowl for my matches. I love collecting matches whenever I travel. We have this Jenny Kane coffee table book. I love Jenny Kane. I love the brand. I love the clothes. They're so beautiful. I loved this little lamp because it has this like natural woven texture to it, and I just thought it was super fun. It was one of the first pieces that I bought for this apartment, and I just love how it ties in some natural components. We have some storage boxes down here with some more coffee table books. I have a Charleston coffee table book down there. Charleston's very near and dear to my heart. I've spent a lot of time down there, and that's where I met my boyfriend. So I love tying in little elements of Charleston because it's another home away from home for me, and I feel like a lot of my interior style is inspired by Charleston and the coastal beach life. Another space that I absolutely love is my kitchen table. I got the table off of Facebook Marketplace, and everybody in my family was confused when I bought it. They were like, why are you getting this little table? But I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it, which was get a cute little tablecloth and some beautiful, gorgeous plates. So my plates are from the brand Piano. Everything is handmade in Italy, and it's so beautiful. Once I saw the plates online, I knew that that's what I had to have. And I love how they're pink because my favorite color is pink. And if I'm living alone in my very girly apartment, then we're gonna have lots of pink, lots of colors. I love having fresh flowers. I love making my own bouquet. So I made this on Sunday, and I just think it's so fun, especially in the springtime. It just really spruces up the place. Then we have my comfy couch that I love so much. It's from Pottery Barn, another piece that I bought right away in the beginning. I love it. I knew I wanted a white couch. Again, it's just me, so I can have a white couch if I want a white couch. I tied in some blue and white pieces because blue and white together just makes me feel so at peace and so calm, and it reminds me of the beach and just a serene life. I knew I wanted to have a really fun, bright and colorful carpet, so I think that my carpet is a really fun element of my space and kind of it makes everything pop. We have my coffee table that has my coffee table book, Island Dreaming. Again, more tying into the coastal kind of elements of this apartment. We have these cute little matchbooks that my old roommate, after 3 years, made for me. So they say Jilly's Place on them, and they're so cute. I love the whole setup going on right here. Again, we have more woven textures, and it kind of just makes everything feel natural and homey and at peace. The funny thing about these chairs is that they were originally in my parents' home in our basement. They were this like white suede color that ended up going to my sister's apartment, and then they ended up at my apartment. So they were very old and beat up, and I kind of decided that these are amazing chairs. We can't let these go to waste. So I ended up picking out a new fabric and got them reupholstered. We painted the bottoms white, and I just think they turned out beautiful. I was so excited about these chairs, and I think it's just a really cute and warm, welcoming seating area that's just so fun. I love sitting here having my morning coffee, reading a book from the bookshelf, and it's super fun. And then this little table was actually in my grandparents' home. So I was looking for a little side table, and my mom thought of this little table that was just in our basement, and it worked out perfectly. It's so cute. I keep some hosting materials in there, which is perfect. Again, I love making use out of all my pieces and having extra storage in every way that I can because I've got a lot of stuff and it needs to fit somewhere. This ottoman is super cute. I found it online, and I was looking for just a natural kind of woven or like raffia ottoman, and I just think it's so cute. It's light. I love the light color, and it's just a nice little place to put your feet up, or someone can sit on there, and people have when I have people over for game nights. So it's a fun, cute little element that adds in some natural patterns and textures into the apartment. Then we have my beloved bookshelf. This was actually in my sister's apartment. She was giving it away, and I said, this is perfect. I will absolutely take it. So we have some books in here. We have more matchbooks. We have a photo of me and my boyfriend. This cute little napkin that says, I demand glamour. Just felt very fitting and very me. And I love the shell bookends. I saw those on TikTok, and I thought they were the cutest thing. They're from World Market, and I just love how they feel beachy and just super cute. We have two more coffee table books, Colorful World and The House Romantic. Both just felt very fitting. I got this cute little candle holder in a shop in New York. Then we have a picture of me and my sister framed, and then a cute little picture from my trip to Costa Rica that I just went on. It was such an amazing trip, and I just wanted to add a little piece of it to my home. And then up here, I have a photo of Charleston. Again, Charleston is very near and dear to my heart. And I definitely wanted to tie in some elements of Charleston into my apartment, which you'll see more of. So then we have my TV console. I was looking for months for a TV console. This was probably the hardest thing for me to find. And finally, one of my friends who was going to Parsons for interior design school was tasked with the job of helping me find one, and she picked this out, and it is so perfect. It's now one of my favorite parts of my apartment. It's got amazing storage, which we love, but also it just looks so beautiful. It also ties in really well with the cabinets in my apartment. It's honestly so perfect. I can't think of a better TV console than this one. I love it so much. Then we have some cute coffee table books, Mykonos Muse, because my grandparents were very Greek, so definitely wanted to tie in some elements of that. I'm a part of a women's network at my full-time job, and when I saw this Women Making Waves coffee table book at a boutique in Charleston, I just thought it was very fitting and powerful, and I love women supporting women. I have 3 amazing sisters, which you can see right here. This is us helping my one sister, Kara, get ready for her wedding in Charleston. Again, we all love Charleston so much, so they're very special to me, and I honestly don't know what I would do without them. They are my lifeline. We have a gorgeous diptyque candle. I love the scent so much, and the pink is just very much me, and it has this cute little scalloped coaster underneath it. This Icons book was from one of my best friends. It's actually her birthday today, and she gave me this book for my birthday. She said, because you're an icon, which is just super cute. It was honestly one of the best gifts I've received, because who doesn't want to be told they're an icon? Great Escapes Italy coffee table book, because that's one of my favorite trips that me and 2 of my sisters and my dad went on. It was my younger sister and my mom couldn't make it. They had a dance competition, and the 4 of us went to Italy together, and we had seriously the best time. We still talk about it to this day. We have this cute little Cezanne vase, which I love putting flowers in, and then this adorable scalloped and wooden lamp. So cute, from Target. I love it so much. I'm obsessed with lamps. I have so many lamps in this apartment, and I searched for so long for different kinds of lamps, and this changed a few times, but now this has been officially, the lamp of the moment in this space, and I love it so much. I think it's the perfect lamp. Then we have a little guitar down here. My boyfriend plays guitar. I don't, but he needs one here, so we always have a guitar on hand. And then we have this gorgeous mirror. I was looking for a mirror for so long, and I had gotten one that's now in my bedroom, but then a few weeks after I moved in, I was in HomeGoods, and I saw this one, and I literally stopped in my tracks, and I sent it to my sisters. I'm like, guys, I think I need this mirror. And I love it so much. It's literally perfect. Again, it has that natural wooden component to it. I just think it's so cute and fun. I love it so much. So that's my mirror. These are both photos that I took myself. This is from a trip to Croatia with my family. Again, I love documenting all of my travels with my family. We spend a lot of time together, and traveling together is one of my favorite things to do. And then I have this gorgeous picture I took when I studied abroad in Barcelona. That was a big chapter in my life, so I love being able to reminisce on that and have that photo in my apartment. My advice for moving into a small space is definitely to maximize your storage. So for every piece that I picked out, I wanted to make sure that I could somehow add a little element of storage into it, just so that things could be kind of hidden away, and I know where everything is, but it's all kind of tucked away so that everything can still look really nice, but we still can have all of our stuff available for us. So that would be definitely my number 1 tip. And also definitely consider measuring before you buy stuff. I was going kind of rogue with not measuring anything, and finally my friend was like, I would definitely just wait and maybe measure some stuff before. And then I started doing that, and I realized that, I had to kind of figure out how everything was gonna fit. So definitely measure your space before. When I was thinking about decorating my space, it was the summertime. So I knew I was moving in here in April of 2024. So I had all summer to kind of think about how I wanted to decorate my space. And I honestly wanted my apartment to feel like spring and summer. And someone that I kind of modeled my style after is my sister. I love her taste. I love her apartment. So I kind of have a similar vibe to her, and I feel like it's a little bit coastal, modern, traditional. I just wanted it to feel natural, lots of color and different textures, patterns. So that's kind of my style of home decor. I work in commercial real estate. I love it so much. I have my broker's license. It's an amazing job, and I also have gotten to learn so much about the city, and I feel like I know the entire city and outlying areas because of my job. And the past 3 years, I've really pursued a side hustle in content creation, which has been such a fun side hobby and also passion project for me. I love fashion and home decor and just like sharing my lifestyle. So it's really been fun to be able to do that kind of on the side and have a little passion side project while also pursuing my full-time career and dreams in real estate. Now that I've showed you my living room, it's time to head into the bedroom, which is very easily accessible because it is right off the living room. We have this amazing little sliding door if I want some privacy, but we like to keep it open most of the time so that the space can feel very bright and open. My bedroom, while it is small, I love the way that I set it up because I just wanted to feel very cozy and just peaceful, which I think I kind of nailed. So we have my bedding from Serena and Lily. We have this Jenny Kane woven blanket, which is literally the softest thing ever. Then I have these beautiful little embroidered pillows from Hill House. I wanted something that felt just like personal, and I think that the green little texture kind of worked in with some other elements into my room, like this photograph, which is the marsh area in Charleston. So I definitely wanted to add some more Charleston elements into my room, and I feel like this room kind of feels like the perfect coastal escape. So then we have my nightstand, which is literally the perfect little nightstand. I had other nightstands picked out, and then once I moved in and kind of saw how everything looked in the space, I found this cute little side table from HomeGoods, and I felt like it fit perfectly. So we have my cute lamp. I added this adorable lampshade from Pookie Lighting. They have the cutest lampshades, cutest just everything. I love it so much. We have my Hatch alarm, how I wake up every day. It is the most peaceful way to wake up. We have this cute little mini diptyque candle on the side, some hand cream, and then obviously I had to have a cute tissue cover holder because everything has to be cute and fun and girly in this space. So I love this little tissue holder. We have this beautiful little painting from Dubrovnik when my family went to Croatia, which I love. I just love having so many different photographs and photos and paintings of traveling because that's something that I just love to do so much. Then we have my jewelry all down here, so I like to keep that very compact and put away, and it's a nice little side table. So this is my dresser. I love this so much. I wanted a tall dresser specifically because I didn't have that much room with this wall, so having a tall dresser was something that was very much needed, and then I could also display some cute little pieces. So I have a bunch of perfume, room linen spray. I have another diptyque candle right here, which is one of my favorite scents. I have this adorable vintage little china dish that I got from a local boutique in Lincoln Park, which is called Kismet. I love their stuff. I have a few different pieces from that shop, and they just always have the best vintage or new items. I have this beautiful arched mirror, which I feel like really opens up the space. It wasn't even my plan to put the mirror here initially, but once I did, I knew that it was perfect because it just, again, opens up the space and it just makes it feel very big. I have this cute little scalloped lamp and then a painting from that Italy trip I referenced with my dad and two of my sisters. We all got a painting from the same day and same spot, and I just love looking at it. It was in my room at my parents' house, and I kind of took a few things with me to my new space, and I just love being able to look at that, and the bright colors are just so fun. And then it's very nice to have a full-length mirror in here because when I'm trying on my clothes in my closet, I can instantly look and see if I like what I'm seeing. So I put that there. That was supposed to be out there, but I feel like it works better in here and really ties in the dark framing of it with the photographs. So it actually worked out perfectly. What I love most about my home is all the color and the patterns. I think it's so fun to have it be really bright and very much me. I love patterns and colors, and I think that that's probably my favorite part. And I love tying in some older pieces with some new pieces. I have some pieces that are passed down from my grandma, and then I have some newer pieces. I have pieces from Facebook Marketplace, but I also have brand new pieces, and it's just really fun how they've all come together and kind of made my space feel like a home. I set up my space so it would be great for entertaining. Even though we're in a small space, I wanted to make sure that I had room for people to come over and entertain. So sometimes we'll set up a game on my coffee table. I'll have my friends over, we'll make dinner, and it's so much fun that even though we're in a smaller, tiny apartment, it feels bigger, and I can have so many people over, and I love to entertain. So that's something that's very important to me. Now that you've seen my bedroom, we can head right over to the kitchen, which is right off the bedroom and living area. I love my kitchen so much. We have so much counter space, and it's perfect for someone who loves to cook, and I also love to bake. So that's something that I do a lot in my kitchen, which is so great that I have the KitchenAid because I do a lot of baking, cookies, banana bread. It's one of my favorite things to do. We have this cute little lamp with some photographs that I got in a boutique in Charleston. I love the natural wood frames, and it ties in so perfectly with the cabinets, so that worked out very well. This is kind of where I set up everything for my cooking, my baking, so it's the perfect little spot. I make all my coffees right here after I make them in my machine. And then I can take you through my kitchen. I love the updated appliances. It was really important for me to have an apartment that was a bit updated, and it worked out very well. I love to cook. I love making food on the griddle as well. You can really make anything. I have tea every night, so I love my little Le Creuset teapot. I have this little setup right here for my olive oil, my salt and pepper. We have this cute little flamingo estate candle, which I love so much, and the scent just really brought me back to my grandma's garden because she loved flowers and gardening, and literally the candle kind of just encompasses all those beautiful California smells that I remember growing up going to. We have a cute utensil jar. I love the pattern on here, the blues. It's just very perfect. I got that from HomeGoods, and I love it so much. I have this adorable linen bench that opens up, and there's tons of storage in there. So I keep some towels in there, some extra linen. So this is the perfect spot to kind of keep extra items in. And sometimes I like to sit while I wait for my food to cook. So sometimes I'll just sit here, and it's honestly a really nice, comfy little bench. So this is my gallery wall, which I didn't even intend on doing, but it worked out so well. I have paintings from a few different spots that I've been to. So we have New York. I got this when I was visiting one of my best friends there. Then this, I believe, is in Salzburg, Austria, which was a trip that my family went on that was seriously so wonderful. We got to see everything from The Sound of Music. So that's one of my family's favorite movies. So to be able to go there and see everything was unreal. This is from Paris, pretty obvious with the Eiffel Tower, but I went there when I studied abroad. And then this is from Venice, Italy, which is that trip that I went on with my family. And then I got this adorable vintage photo from an Etsy seller, and it's the Battery in Charleston. And when my boyfriend and I first met, we did a lot of walks down the Battery, and so I thought it was super cute with the man and woman and the kites and the birds. It just is so Charleston and so cute. So I loved that photo. And then this is kind of my spooky photo, but I love Lord Huron, the band, and I've seen them a few times with my sister and my boyfriend, and I love music so much. It's so important to me. I always have music playing in my apartment, and I also think that makes a home very cozy. It's just having music on. And so I got one of their posters, and music is a part of who I am. I just love it. I love their music. It just speaks to me so much. So I love having this framed in here. This is more of my kitchen area. I like to keep this space nice and neat and tidy. We have my Smeg toaster, which I just love it so much. I think it's the cutest thing. These knives are from Material Home, which is such an amazing home. I believe it's online only, but their stuff is so good. We have all of these Estelle glasses. I love the colors. It's just so fun, so me. I cannot wait to be on my rooftop in the summer with my Estelle glasses. This is an Estelle decanter, and these are just more fun Estelle glasses. So I love Estelle. I love everything that she does, woman owned, and just beautiful, timeless glassware. Then probably one of my favorite parts of my apartment has to be my coffee machine. I love coffee. I make a latte literally every day, and it is one of my favorite things that I own. It is the best. So I have this cute little espresso cup that I got from a boutique in Lincoln Park called Artifact. And then this is from Kismet, which is that boutique in Chicago. And this holds my coffee beans. And I have this cute little wooden spoon. And the employee had told me that it's a vintage mustard jar that somebody would have used back in the day. And I just put my coffee beans in it, and I think it's so cute and adds a little bit of a vintage touch with more of the modern pieces, which we love mixing those together. One of my favorite meals to make when I have people over, it's very simple, but I love to go to Whole Foods and get the pizza dough that they have and basically make personalized pizzas for everyone. Even though I'm dairy-free, I will get dairy-free cheese, but I'll also get regular cheese for those who are not dairy-free. But it's such a fun thing to do with people because it's really easy to make, but it tastes so good, and you can kind of make it your own. So it has like a personalized touch. You can ask what your guests want and have some wine with it and play some card games. That's super fun. But I also have some hosting just materials tucked away. So whenever I have people over, I have some cute little jars, and I just like love having a whole setup of just different cheeses and meats and little items that people can pick at. So I love just making it very fun and easygoing. I have this rug that I love so much. It actually took me months to find an entryway rug, and I would search all the time, but I found this one at World Market, and I honestly love it so much. I think that I love the natural color base that it has going on, but I think that the green flowers with the yellow buds are just so cute, and it ties just really nicely into my apartment. And it's just like a nice calming entryway rug. It's not too crazy busy, but it also has that like girly feminine touch that I love to add into my apartment. And then we have this picture from Barcelona, which is where I studied abroad, but also I got this 4 years prior to when my sister studied abroad. This is one of their famous like lookout areas, and me and my sisters each got a piece, and I'll have it framed. So it's fun to have that. It's a nice little bold, colorful photo that you can see right away when you walk in. Right off my kitchen, we have my bathroom, which is the perfect little bathroom, especially for just one person. I love it so much. I like to keep it clean, organized, and simple, so not too much going on over here, but I love to add those pink and fun colors, fun textures and patterns. So we have this really cute napkin holder from Serena and Lily that I just put some blue and white napkins in. I thought it was super cute. We have this beautiful pink setup from Casatex New York, I just think that it's so cute. It makes the space feel really bright because we have these plain white walls, so I love adding just fun elements of color and texture into the space. We have a cute little candle. I always like to have a candle lit. As you can see, I think I have like 10 candles in this apartment. So lots of candles going on. And then I wanted a shower curtain that was fun and colorful. I just think that this block print pattern is so fun. I love that it has the scalloped edge. I had a white one originally, and honestly just made it feel a little bit too plain in here. So I love having this block print pattern going on. I have these adorable embroidered scalloped towels from Wheezy Towels, which is where I get all my towels from. And then we have these cute little framed photos from Etsy. I think that the blues and the greens just all really tied in so nicely together in here. And I just love the way this bathroom turned out because it's the perfect little bathroom for getting ready, doing my hair. I spend a lot of time in here, so I love the way it turned out. When I think about a home, I think about a space that I can be with family and friends, a space that feels inviting and warm, and a space where I can just be authentically myself. That's super important to me, to just always stay true to who I am. I feel like it's very easy to get kind of mixed up in different aesthetics, and I just know that this aesthetic is just completely me. I know that this home, it's just me, and I poured so much love and time into it, and I just love the way it makes me feel every time I come home. Every time I wake up, I just think this is the most perfectly me space, and I think having a space that you can bring family and friends into and be proud of and just feel so comfortable in, that to me feels like a home. Homeworthy, it was so fun having you and showing you around my Lincoln Park apartment, but I've got some work to do, so it's time for you to go, but thank you so much for coming along.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Cassandra. Welcome to my Chicago apartment.
Watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Noel. We're in Chicago right now, where I am a content creator and interior designer. My home, it is very modern. It's a high-rise apartment in Chicago with floor-to-ceiling windows, but I really wanted to make it feel cozy, serene, kind of just like a very comforting and inviting space. So you'll see a lot of antique, vintage mixed with modern, and a lot of color and texture. That's kind of how I tried to make it intentional and feel a little bit more welcoming and homey. Welcome to our living room. This is the room we spend the most time in for sure. I wanted to center it around conversation, so I tried to have all of the seating facing each other. We have a nice big couch, so we can all like snuggle up here, chat. Like I said, we love to host, and I really had a lot of fun playing with colors and textures in here. I love these coffee table books. Something I started doing recently, which is a little extra, is getting coffee table books when I'm traveling. So I recently got this one in Mexico, and it's just kind of fun to have a little memento of a travel that is something I'll keep forever, something I can share with people and can be a conversation starter. So I love my coffee table books, and I'll be collecting them forever. Another one of my favorite pieces is this magazine holder. I was antique shopping at an antique mall, and I found this buried under a bunch of other stuff. And it is actually one of my dream pieces from one of my favorite designers, Alvar Aalto. I could not believe that I found it, and I was just like in disbelief. It was such an amazing find and one of my favorite pieces in my home that I'll definitely be keeping forever. And then this pink couch is kind of fun. When I first started designing for clients, I started saving up for this couch. It was just a dream piece that I'd always wanted to have. So as soon as I had saved up enough, and that was my first big like luxury furniture piece. So I love this, and is also one of my favorite. And then one more piece in here that I absolutely love is this onyx side table. It is a gorgeous pedestal. I found it at my Modern Oasis in Chicago. It is my favorite antique store in Chicago by far, so if you're ever in the area, you've got to stop by. The gallery wall is kind of controversial because we used to have a big screen TV here, and it was just, to me, such an eyesore. And like I said earlier, I really wanted this space to be centered around like gathering and hosting, being together. So I just didn't want the focal point of the room to be a huge TV. So I took the TV down and we put a gallery wall up instead. So far we love it. We have a projector if we do ever miss it and want to watch a movie or something. So far it's been a good choice, but it's only been a couple of months, so we'll see. I have all of my magazines here, a record player for when we want to listen to music. This whole space is just really intended for gathering and being together. This chair is my latest purchase. It is so comfortable. I saw it and immediately fell in love. It's from Lulu in Georgia, and it's leather, so it's kind of like a fun take on your classic leather chair. It's really comfortable, but it's also green and quirky and a little bit fun, so it adds some interest to the room. I was worried that it would kind of clash with the green rug in here, but actually I kind of love mixing the greens, the pinks, the camel. It all kind of works in an unexpected way. So the rug has been a really fun change. I used to have a beige rug in here, and I love a good beige, but having this dark green makes it feel way more homey and intentional. And then connected to our living room space is our balcony, so let's head out there. So being in the city, having an outdoor space is such a luxury, and I don't take it for granted. I love coming out here to have a glass of wine, read. My husband and I love to come out here when it's nice out and watch the sunset. And my dog Daphne also loves to curl up on the rug while I'm sitting out here. So it's really just a nice addition to the family room, and I spend as much time out here as I can. And then these patio chairs are kind of a fun story. My husband and I couldn't find any patio chairs that we liked that were in our budget at the time. So in our first apartment, we took an entire weekend to make some plans and build these. And it was such a fun project. I love doing a project together. It's probably my favorite thing to do with my husband. And we love them. We get so many compliments. So it's been such a fun addition to our balcony. All right, let's head over to the kitchen and dining area. So people ask me all the time how I would describe my aesthetic, and it's really tricky because I don't feel like it fits into one box, but I do love organic material, so I definitely say there's a mix of organic modern, vintage, a little bit of transitional design, just because I want the space to flow really seamlessly throughout, but it doesn't really fit into one box. I think I go a lot with feeling and the feeling I want my space to create, so I wanted it to feel really cozy and intentional, and I think that probably describes it the best. A little bit romantic, maybe. This is our kitchen and dining area. Welcome. I don't spend the most time in here because I'm not the best chef, but I am a very supportive listener and chatter when someone else is cooking. So usually my husband will be cooking in here and I'll be sitting at the dining room table chatting with him. It is a smaller space, but we kind of made the most of it. I found this table in our first apartment on Facebook Marketplace. It was the exact table that I wanted, but again, at that time it was out of our budget, so we looked on Facebook Marketplace and it was there. So I cannot recommend enough, if there's a piece that you love, to look for it secondhand. You never know what you might find. And then this fruit bowl is also from my Modern Oasis in Chicago. It's a gorgeous onyx piece, and it kind of brings a little bit of vintage to this more modern setup. Another thing I love in design is mixing and matching. So I don't have, especially with my clients, I don't think everything needs to match. I actually think it's more fun when it doesn't. So I kind of did that with these dining chairs here. We mix and match these chairs. And I just think it adds a lot more interest to the setup, and it makes it feel more intentional. And another thing that we did to this area was we changed out the light fixture. It came with renter grade light fixtures that we weren't the biggest fan of. So we switched that out, and then we just put our rental fixtures in a safe place so that when we move out, we can easily change them back and make sure that everything is how it was when we moved in. But for now, this has been a great addition, and I love this space. You will find me hosting often. I love to do like a tablescape and have my friends over. So even though I'm not the one cooking, I definitely love to create the vibe. And then let's head to the kitchen. So the kitchen, like I said, is kind of a challenge because of limited space. We again changed out the light fixture. This is one of probably my favorite light fixture we have in the house. It's from George's, which is a light fixture company. So when I found them online, I just absolutely fell in love. It is worth the wait because it does have a long shipping time, but I love this light fixture. Our mixing and matching that I love to do is with glassware. So I have tons of different glassware. Some of it's new, some of it's vintage, and I think mixing and matching is just so much fun when I'm hosting or even just at home. Like drinking even a glass of water out of a fun glass just makes something feel so much more romantic and fun. Also mixed a lot of vintage pieces in here. So some of the glassware is vintage, the cookbooks I found vintage. This lamp, which I love, is vintage. So just a lot of mixing and matching with the new and the vintage pieces. One of my favorite parts of the kitchen is this fruit display. I love having my fruit out, so it's just easy, it's convenient and beautiful. I heard somewhere, I can't remember where, that like fruits and vegetables are nature's jewelry, so it's kind of like the jewelry for the kitchen. So this curtain has also added a lot of coziness. It can be challenging in a rental because the walls are concrete, so you can't drill into them, but I did find a tension rod that was able to hang the curtain from, and then I did a command strip with this gorgeous little shell hook, and it just made it look so much more custom and not like a rental. So originally I went to school to be a teacher. So I was a teacher in Chicago for almost 9 years, and I always loved design and decor. It was kind of like my hobby or side hustle. I would do it for friends and family, and I just had so much fun curating my own apartment. And as I started sharing that on social media, people started asking me if I would help them with their homes and their spaces. So little by little, it turned into a career. It's definitely a dream come true. I've always loved design. Ever since I was little, I remember being at the library and pouring through like vintage architectural digests. So it's a lifelong dream, but it didn't come to fruition in the most traditional path. Before I show you the rest of the house, I'm going to show you this hallway. This was the first piece of furniture my husband and I bought for our first apartment. It was at a thrift store, of course, and we both locked eyes on it at the same time and fell in love. So that was an easy purchase, and it's definitely been a fixture in all three of our apartments. It kind of just fits wherever it goes, and that's something that I love about it. I have this little vintage letter holder that we found the same day, and so it's kind of a nice place to put our mail. We drop our keys in this book. It's like a secret cubby, and then yeah, I always have a candle going because I want it to smell amazing when guests walk in. And then over here you can see one of my favorite pieces. This is another thing that my husband and I built together. I found this gorgeous marble entryway table that looked really similar to this, but it was just way out of our price range. So we made this out of IKEA salad bowls, and you can see here that we just kind of glued them together, added some wood filler, sanded them down, and then we used the bowl to trace this wavy shape. So we did that, and honestly, it turned out better than I could ever have imagined. It's such a stunning piece. We get asked about it all the time. It's kind of fun that it's the first thing you see when you walk in the door. Okay, welcome to our guest bathroom. It's right off the entryway, so right when you walk in, and this is probably my second favorite room in the house because of the Roman clay paint that we did. It was a trust the process moment. It did not turn out exactly as I expected immediately. It took about 3 days to get to this color, and we actually spackled it on. You don't put it on with a paintbrush. So I was feeling kind of nervous, but it was so worth the risk because I love the color. It's just so beautiful, warm, and inviting. I actually did this little remodel in August, and I was just feeling like Italian summer vibes, Mediterranean, and that was kind of the influence for where the decor came from. I just wanted it to feel very like Mediterranean, cozy, but also like serene, so that it kind of went along with the vibe of the guest bedroom. One more way to customize your rental space is to swap out your fixtures. So that's what I did with this toilet paper holder. It's also a magazine holder, and it is just so fun. It's one of my favorite pieces in the entire apartment. I absolutely love it, and the gold goes perfectly with the terracotta. So I also added some custom hooks to hang towels on when you get out of the shower, and this beautiful green rug and green shower curtain. I just love the way green and terracotta look together. It's very earthy, very Mediterranean, so it perfectly fit the vibe that I was going for. All right, let's head to the primary bedroom. My first tip that I always tell my design clients or friends or family is that it's a process. It can be tempting to move to a space, an apartment or a home, and want to have everything finished right away, to have it just be perfect immediately, but that's really not attainable. And if you rush it, you might end up buying things that you don't need or don't fit the space. So I would recommend, whether you're in a home or apartment, just living in the space for a little bit and seeing how you live, how you feel, and then like taking your time and picking pieces with intention that bring you joy, that fit the space well. Apartment living, some tips for that in particular would be, you can make it feel like home. There's so many great renter-friendly hacks these days. Like there's peel and stick tile. You can check with your landlord and see if they'll let you paint. That has been huge for me. Being able to add paint can totally transform a space, and it's a very inexpensive way to do so. I would also say changing out your light fixtures and just bringing in pieces that you love and that have definitely pieces that have multiple functions. So anything that has extra storage in it is key when you're living in an apartment. I've been in this apartment for about 4 years now. The main draw for me was all the gorgeous natural lighting. The 2 previous apartments I lived in were both in Chicago, but they were very, very dark and gray, and I wanted more light. I spend a lot of time at home because I work from home, so I wanted it to feel bright and energizing. And then it was really funny, my really good friend was apartment hunting at the same time that I was, so we ended up getting units both on the same floor of this building, and we kind of got to live like our friend's sitcom dream. Welcome to our primary bedroom. This is probably the room I spend the second most amount of time in. I wanted it to feel a little bit minimalistic, even though minimalism isn't my style, because I just wanted the bedroom to not be an overwhelming space. I wanted to be able to come in here and unplug and refresh from the day. So I don't have a ton of pieces in here, but what I do have, I've been really intentional with, and it's pieces that I love and feel really personal. One of the pieces I get asked about the most is this bed frame. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find anything quite like it, so I drew a picture of what I was thinking, and my husband drew up a sketch. We took a weekend, built it, and it's definitely the most asked about piece in our apartment. It's super simple, but it fits this room really well. It's fit every room, like in each apartment that we've lived in, really well, so it's just a good base and I love it. Another one of my favorite pieces in this room is this nightstand. You might not know, but you can take the lid off and it's actually a storage basket. Having extra storage in an apartment is crucial, so I keep some office and clothes in there, and it's just really helpful to have a beautiful piece that also functions as storage. And then this is kind of a little makeshift bookshelf. When I moved into our apartment, the first thing I wanted to do was unpack our books. Books always make me feel at home, so I kind of just haphazardly laid them on the shelf without like meaning to, and then I saw it and I thought it looked so beautiful and fun and just kind of like a fun way to display them. So I ended up leaving them as they were. This is our dresser. Again, I can't restate enough, having storage in an apartment our size is so important. So we wanted something that would fit all of our belongings, and this really fit the bill while being still super aesthetic and the vibe of our bedroom. It's also kind of minimalist. It's not like the craziest piece of furniture that we have, but it fits really well with our bedroom and just kind of brings those cozy, calming vibes. I display my perfumes and a picture, my favorite picture of my husband and I at our wedding, so that's always there. But other than that, I keep it pretty simple. So this light fixture is a bigger version of the one in our kitchen. I love having 2 light fixtures of different sizes. It kind of adds some continuity to the apartment. I also feel like it just adds so much beauty to this room. I love like the floral petals, and it's just so stunning. It's kind of fun to be laying in bed at night and like look up and see those gorgeous floral petals. This is one of the most asked about pieces in our apartment. It is my antique jewelry box. I also found it at my Modern Oasis, and it is stunning. It's got this it's got a green velvet interior, and it's kind of fun to have it open and displayed so I can just grab my jewelry or put it away like right before I go to bed and I don't forget and accidentally sleep with my rings on. So I love this piece. Unfortunately, it's one of a kind. People are always asking for a link, but it is so beautiful. I really encourage you to look for a vintage piece when you're looking for a jewelry box. This is one of the most special pieces in my apartment. It is a painting done in yarn by one of my coworkers. When I was a teacher, it was a really hard decision to leave teaching and to become full-time interior designer, content creator, and I was kind of nervous to do it, but really excited. And one of my fellow teachers knew that it was such a special moment in my life that she made this for me. She knew that sunsets were really special, a special memory between me and my mom, so she wanted to paint this sunset for me as like a sign that this is a special moment in my life and career. So I love looking at this every day when I wake up. So keeping with the theme of sentimental pieces in our bedroom, this is a painting done by my niece Arden. It is such a fun reminder of her. She lives in Nebraska and I don't get to see her all the time, so it's really fun that it's in my bedroom and I get to see it when I wake up before I go to bed at night, and it reminds me of her. The view in our bedroom is what sold me and my husband on this apartment. It is definitely the best view in the apartment. I love, you can see the buildings and just like all of the city life right outside. So it's really fun to just people watch, to watch the cars going by. There's always something to look at, and I love this stunning view. It's kind of just like a pinch me moment being from Nebraska and waking up in here and seeing like this is where I live now. It will never cease to amaze me. Okay, let's head to the guest bedroom. My favorite room in the apartment is definitely our guest bedroom. It's my favorite for a lot of reasons. It was the first time I tried lime washing and color drenching, so we painted all the walls and the ceilings this gorgeous green. I can't wait for you to see it. And it just feels like a cozy getaway when my guests are here. I want them to feel really welcome. I don't want them to want to go home at the end of their stay. I want them to feel like they're having like a really refreshing, cozy getaway. And I got to play a lot with textures and colors in there, so it's my favorite room. This is our guest bedroom. It is my favorite room in the apartment. I love, love, love the green lime wash and the color drenching that we did. It was well worth all the painting. It is just so beautiful, calming. It kind of feels just like a cozy green cave in here. So I love it. It's really serene. To be honest, sometimes my husband and I will just take like a weekend and sleep in here, and it kind of feels like our own little getaway. So I love, love, love this room. The bed is a really fun velvet material, so it kind of plays off with like the lime wash paint and just all the texture. I wanted to have like a little bit of an organic feel to this room. So the rattan lamp and the marble side table all kind of works together to create a very like ethereal vibe. We have the shelf in here kind of just to display some of our knickknacks and trinkets. I love to collect things on our travels, so a lot of these things are the coffee tables, or are the coffee table books from our travels, or this fan I got in Mexico. So just displaying little moments that we remember and that feel really intentional. This piece is a gorgeous vase sent from a friend. She runs a antiquing business called Sylvie Home. So I love, love, love this vase. It's beautiful and adds so much texture to the room. It perfectly fits the vibe. I love horses, so you'll see little horse photos, or you'll see horse paintings or horse books all around the apartment. These plates are beautiful. They belonged to my great uncle, and my mom gifted them to me, which I felt was such an honor. I love them so much, and it's really nice to have them displayed in here where I can look at them, and they have a nice little home on the shelf. So this side table has another snake lamp. You might have noticed there's one in my primary bedroom as well. It kind of adds a little bit of continuity, but to be honest, I just love the snake lamp too much. I had to have another one. I feel like it looks good in every space. Ironically, I'm terrified of snakes, but this snake lamp is just gorgeous, stunning, and one of my favorite pieces in the apartment. So lime washing is honestly quite a bit easier than I thought it would be. You don't have to be super particular with it. You kind of just crosshatch, go back and forth while you paint. The main thing is you can't let there be a dry edge, so it's helpful to have two people. But if you're considering lime washing a room in your own home, don't be nervous. It's not as hard as it looks. I know it looks really daunting, but it is super fun. If you have 2 people to do it with, you can get it done in a weekend and make such a big visual impact. Home means serenity, joy, and togetherness. I think the biggest thing when when I'm creating a space or with my own home is I want people to feel welcome. I want to host, I want to gather. I want my husband to feel so at home here. I want my dog to feel at home here. I just think home is about togetherness and also somewhere to unwind and relax and just be yourself.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.